Chapter 2962. Blood God Demon General and Yu Duo Demon General died under Du Xiaofu's ferocious attacks. That purple-robed youth stood in the air, as if he was the most terrifying person in the world, possessing the strength to destroy everything. Ben Shi's body was stained with endless demon blood, making him look like a god of death. Watching the end of everything, the remaining Ming Luo Demon General, Fierce Locust Demon General, Yu Duo Demon General, Luan Su Demon General, Fleeing Shadow Demon General, and Soul Mist Demon General all felt their scalps go numb. Du Xiaofu's strength was too shocking. That kid was incomparably terrifying. He fought two great demon generals alone and killed the latter, yet he did not suffer much injuries. The 6 demon generals all felt a chill rising from the soles of their feet, straight to their heads. They stood in place, momentarily forgetting what they should do. Should they go up and fight, or continue to escape into the depths of the 18 levels of hell? And in another direction, Lu Jingyun, Lu Yuxiao, Long Ke, Long Su, and the rest were all incomparably shocked, feeling overwhelmed by Du Xiaofu's strength. Among the crowd, only Lu Xiaoyou's gaze was indifferent, with a trace of a smile on his lips. Du Xiaofu being able to grow to such an extent was also within his expectations. Desolate Demon General, Blood God Demon General, and Yu Duo Demon General are all dead. There are still 6 left. Du Xiaofu stood in the air, his gaze extremely cold. His gaze shifted, looking at the 6 demon generals who stood in the air in a daze, a strange smile appearing on his face. Being stared at by such a gaze, Ming Luo Demon General and the rest could not help but shiver, as if they were being stared at by some ancient giant, feeling a terrifying aura of danger. All of them are actually scared silly. Du Xiaofu sneered, somewhat surprised that these demon generals who roamed the ancient times would actually be stunned in place because of him. This could not help but make one feel that it was laughable. However, it made sense when one thought about it. During the ancient times, the 9 demon generals roamed freely throughout the world, and countless living beings prostrated themselves before them. When had they ever tasted such despair? After seeing 3 of their compatriots killed one after another, it made sense that the remaining 6 would show expressions of fear. However, Du Xiaofu would not show any mercy at this time. He spun the purple gold heavenly tower in his hand, and the sword light scattered out like a silver radiance. Killing intent filled the 9 heavens. Next, it's your turn. You 9 demon generals, go on your way together. A long howl was released from his mouth. It pierced through the clouds and rumbled like thunder. Immediately after, the purple-robed figure rushed out again, carrying the 9 purple lightning profound cauldrons and charging towards Ming Luo Demon General and the others. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Above the purple gold heavenly palace, a bright light surged, emitting a brazen aura. Du Xiaofu's own Dao was circulating. A special aura was added to his body, causing him to look like a transcendent being, giving others a sense of grandeur for no reason. Rumble. At the same time, the 9 purple lightning profound cauldrons seemed to be connected to Du Xiaofu's bloodline. Under the guidance of an invisible aura, they moved together, crushing the void like 9 huge mountains across the sky. A heavy aura was released, as if it had the power to suppress everything in the world. In such a terrifying movement, the 6 demon generals were suddenly alerted. Their beards and hair stood on end, and they were extremely shocked. At this time, when they looked at Du Xiaofu again, they did not dare to have the slightest contempt. Faintly, the 6 demon generals felt that even if the rest of them swarmed forward, they would definitely not be able to take down the purple-robed youth in a short time. Du Xiaofu was not a fool. He would definitely not stand there and let them kill him. Moreover, there was still Lu Xiaoyu in the distance. Run! In an instant, the 6 of them only had this thought. Killing Du Xiaofu had become an impossible task. If they ran for their lives, they might still have a chance of survival. As long as they could endure until they entered the 18th layer of hell and drew the demon ancestors' attention, they would still have a chance to live. Lu Xiaoyu, you must not interfere. The 6 demon generals thought to themselves anxiously. Their bodies moved as fast as they could and shuttled through the void like 6 bolts of lightning, disappearing in the blink of an eye. Carrying with them boundless fear, they began to flee. At the same time, they prayed that Lu Xiaoyu would not interfere. Otherwise, they would all die. Under Du Xiaofu's pursuit, they naturally had a better chance of escaping with their lives. Don't even think about escaping. Du Xiaofu charged forward with all his might. Wrapped in an incomparably terrifying aura, he caused the world to tremble. Naturally, he could see that the 6 demon generals were unwilling to give up. However, because they were afraid of Lu Xiaoyu, they didn't dare to take any chances. To Du Xiaofu, there was no way he would let any of the demon generals escape. His plan was very simple. Before he finally faced Jiangchen, he would kill all 9 demon generals and cut off the demon ancestors' left and right arms. In the end, Dongli Qihuang and Chen Yan, the 2 demon servants, had to be completely suppressed. Alright, there was also the blood ancestor who had attacked him many times. He was also on Du Xiaofu's list of must-kill targets. All of this had to be dealt with before the battle with the demon ancestor. With this thought in mind, Du Xiaofu's aura soared. His murderous intent was awe-inspiring as he rapidly pursued. The 6 demon generals didn't dare to look back. Like 6 stray dogs, they fled for their lives. At this moment, everyone's hearts were filled with anxiety. Du Xiaofu was like a reaper chasing after their lives. The distance between them grew closer and closer. If they didn't escape fast enough, their lives could be reaped at any time. Let's go too. Behind them, Lu Xiaoyu spoke softly to Lu Jingyun and the others. Then hundreds of people moved together and began to advance deeper into the 18 layers of hell. After passing through this layer of hell, they would arrive at the 16th layer of hell. They weren't far from the final destination. When everyone entered the 16th layer of hell, Du Xiaofu finally caught up to the Crimson Demon General's footsteps. A new round of killing began. And in the past few days, another huge commotion had spread to everyone's senses. Everyone knew that the Dragon God, Di Badian, Donghuang Taishen, Yanggua, and Lu Xintong were breaking the seals of the 18 layers of hell and rescuing the ancient powerhouses. As a result, 7 layers of seals had been broken. Those 2 ancestors have already passed away. After sensing the situation, Lu Xiaoyu let out a soft sigh. Beside him, Lu Jingyan, Long Ke, and the others all looked incomparably lonely and sorrowful. The 6th and 7th layers of hell had been broken, and the powerhouses inside had all fallen and turned into dust, never to wake up again. For the sake of the ancient beings of Pangu's world, those ancestors had sacrificed their lives and suppressed the demon ancestors' primordial spirit and countless demons in the 18 layers of hell, fighting for the peace of the 33 heavens for eternity. Their contributions were outstanding and had lasted for thousands of generations. However, in this era, the beings of the 33 heavens and the 3,000 boundless worlds finally had the ability to redeem them. However, many of those ancestors would never be able to see the great world that they had protected. When they thought of this, Lu Xiaoyu, Lu Jingyun, Long Ke, and the others couldn't help but feel bitter and sorrowful. If we can successfully kill the demon ancestor, those ancestors will be able to rest in peace. Their sacrifice will naturally be worth it. An expert of the 33 heavens said in a deep voice. The commotion from the 7th layer of hell quickly quieted down. It could be imagined that the dragon god Di Badian and the others should be starting to head to the 8th layer of hell to save all the ancient powerhouses. Everyone didn't think too much about it and continued to follow closely behind Du Xiaofu and the 6 great demon generals, watching the chase over there. In front, the purple-robed youth was incomparably brave. After chasing the Crimson Flame Devil General, he brazenly dragged it into the range of his attacks. Du Xiaofu displayed an overbearing and peerless strength, constantly attacking. The Crimson Flame Demon General could only parry the attacks and was completely suppressed by Du Xiaofu's tyrannical sword light and the 9 purple lightning profound cauldrons. The Crimson Flame Demon General was completely suppressed by Du Xiaofu. At the same time, Ming Luo Demon General and the others couldn't be bothered to rescue them and were all running for their lives. Du Xiaofu was too ferocious, causing them to feel terrified. If the 2 of them attacked together, they still couldn't stop him. If many of them attacked together, Lu Xiaoyu would inevitably interfere. Instead of falling into a meaningless battle, it was better to be straightforward and continue to go deeper into the 18 layers of hell to seek the protection of the demon ancestor. Huff, huff, huff. Pieces of land passed under everyone's feet. As time passed quickly, Du Xiaofu finally completely captured the Crimson Flame Devil General. He raised the broadsword and brazenly slashed down, directly cutting the Crimson Flame Devil General in half. As the devil blood spilled, a fiery red primordial spirit tried to escape, but when Du Xiaofu raised the broadsword again, it turned into a rain of light and exploded. The Crimson Flame Devil General was dead. Next is the fifth. After killing the Crimson Flame Devil General, Du Xiaofu's eyes turned again and stared at Ming Luo Demon General, who was the last of the remaining great demon generals. At this time, the remaining 5 demon generals had fled quite a distance away. The 5 of them used all their strength to escape, so there was a gap between them. They didn't dare to stop for even a moment. At this time, how could they care about cooperating with each other? As long as they could escape with their lives, it would be their greatest fortune. It was also because of this that Ming Luo Demon General was slower than the fierce Locust Demon General, Luan Su Demon General, Evading Shadow Demon General, and Hun Mian Demon General, so he was targeted by Du Xiaofu. You can escape now, but you can't escape forever. Your fate is sealed and no one can save you. Du Xiaofu snorted coldly, and at the same time he shouted, "Sword breaks 10,000 miles." When the shout sounded out, a sword light that pierced through the heavens and the earth rose into the sky and brazenly struck down. Such a sword light directly split the heavens and the earth, destroying everything in the world, and enveloped Ming Luo Demon General's body. In an instant, Ming Luo Demon General only felt that his body was being torn apart by a great force, as if it was going to break into thousands of pieces and explode. This feeling was too terrifying, and it made one's heart turn cold. He desperately wanted to escape, but Du Xiaofu's power of the great Tao tightly bound him, making it difficult for him to move, as if he had fallen into a swamp. Swoosh! When the sword light slashed from behind him, Ming Luo Demon General finally broke free from the terrifying suppression and hurriedly dodged. However, half of his body was still slashed by the sword light, and blood spurted out. In an instant, Ming Luo Demon General's entire body was drenched in sweat, as if he had been drenched in rain. Fortunately, he had used up all his strength to dodge the attack, allowing him to temporarily keep his life. However, in the next moment, before Ming Luo Demon General could breathe a sigh of relief, he heard a loud rumbling sound coming from the sky. Under the prying of the power of the primordial spirit, Ming Luo Demon General was almost scared out of his wits, and he was extremely shocked. Rumble! The 9 divine thunder cauldrons crushed the void and brazenly smashed down. In just a moment, they had caught up to him and directly smashed down on his head. Rumble! After the first divine thunder cauldron fell, Ming Luo Demon General's torso directly exploded into a cloud of blood, leaving only his head, legs, and an arm. Rumble! At this time, the second purple thunder cauldron arrived and directly smashed the back of his head. In a hurry, Ming Luo Demon General did not need to think too much. Immediately, his primordial spirit left his body and desperately escaped. Behind him, his physical body had already turned into nothingness under the crushing of the third divine thunder cauldron and no longer existed. "I've already said that you can't escape." Du Xiaofu's voice came, accompanied by an earth-shattering roar. With the pressure of the other divine thunder cauldrons, Ming Luo Demon General's primordial spirit only felt a terrifying wave of dizziness, as if he was about to faint. Then, after a terrifying burst of force, his last trace of consciousness was also destroyed. The 5th Demon General was killed just like that. Phew! After killing Ming Luo Demon General, Du Xiaofu also let out a sigh of relief. Along the way, he had been attacking with all his might and had consumed a lot of energy. However, Du Xiaofu did not have any intention of stopping. After slightly relaxing, he continued to move. Boundless space was swept past by him as he quickly chased after the remaining few people. Junior Master Du is indeed terrifying. All these years, those who went against him, I'm afraid none of them had a good ending. Behind him, Long Su smacked his lips and said in a daze. He and Long Ke were both born in the 3,000 boundless worlds and were the sons of the dragon god. Since young, they had received great protection and grew up under the shadow of their elders. Even though in their early years, the two of them went out alone to train, but after all, their foundation was deep and everything they experienced was far from Du Xiaofu's. In comparison, the two of them were indeed flowers in a greenhouse. The reason why Du Xiaofu could grow so quickly was not unrelated to everything he had experienced. As for his enemies, under the aggressive methods of the purple-robed youth, naturally, they would not have a good ending. Powerhouses all grow up like this. There is still a big gap between us and Junior Master Du. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been trapped in the third level of meditative realm for so many years. Beside him, Lu Jingyun took over and said with a sigh. After Lu Jingyun finished speaking, he secretly glanced at his father. Relatively speaking, he had experienced more than the two brothers, Long Ke and Long Su. However, compared to Du Xiaofu, he was still lacking by quite a bit. Lu Jingyun's father, Lu Xiaoyu, was the same. Only by going through thousands of dangers could one break through thousands of disasters, and naturally, one could reach heights that ordinary people could not reach. Around them, many powerhouses nodded their heads, deeply agreeing with Lu Jingyun's point of view. The crowd followed Du Xiaofu and the remaining few devil generals and continued to go deeper into the 18 levels of hell. Under their gazes, Du Xiaofu chased behind the fierce locust devil general with an absolutely ferocious posture. When he neared the entrance of the 17th level of hell, the fierce locust devil general was also killed, dying an unnatural death. At this time, only 3 devil generals were left alive. We've entered the 17th level of hell. As they got closer to the 18th level of hell, Lu Xiaoyu's expression gradually became more solemn. The devil ancestor was in the 18th level of hell. What was about to happen next would be the most terrifying battle. Victory or defeat, success or failure, would be decided in this one move. Jingyun, you guys wait here for your Uncle Xiaolong and Aunt Xintong. Leave the rest to me and your martial Uncle Du to settle. You guys can't help much in the battle with the devil ancestor. Lu Xiaoyu turned his head and looked at Lu Jingyun. The devil ancestor was too powerful. Although he had not recovered to his peak state and had been interfered by him once, there was no doubt about it. Needless to say, it was definitely a terrifying being. To these hundreds of meditative realm powerhouses, it was an invincible existence. If Lu Jingyun and the rest entered the 18th level of hell with them, even the aftermath of the battle would easily reap their lives. All right, Father, be careful. We'll wait here for your and Uncle Du's triumphant return. Lu Jingyun's expression was incomparably solemn. He nodded seriously and looked at his father as he spoke. The next battle was the most important. He could not help much. He could only pray sincerely for his father and Uncle Du to successfully kill the devil ancestor. Father, be careful. Xiaoyu, be careful. Uncle Lu, be careful. Overlord of the 3,000 cosmos, be careful. Lu Yuxiao, Lu Ying, Lu Qing, Long Ke, Long Su, and the other powerhouses of the 33 heavens and the 3,000 cosmos all said to Lu Xiaoyu. In response, Lu Xiaoyu did not say much. He only nodded his head. He looked ahead. Du Xiaofu's figure had already disappeared at the entrance of the 17th level of hell. The remaining devil generals had already gone in. Lu Xiaoyu did not delay any longer. In a flash, his figure faded away and he left the place. After watching Lu Xiaoyu leave, Lu Jingyun and the rest stood still. Everyone's heart was in their throats at this moment. Finally, after many terrifying battles, the beings of the 33 heavens and the 3,000 cosmos had given their all against the devil race. After a few twists and turns, the final battle was about to come. Chapter 2963. Lu Xiaoyu, Du Xiaofu, the Dragon God, Di Badian, Donghuang Taishen, Yanghua, and Lu Xintong would be the ones to complete the final battle. As the one who started the ancient war, the devil ancestor was extremely terrifying. He was above all living beings. However, This time, the 33 heavens and the 3,000 boundless worlds were not too worried because they had Lu Xiaoyu and Du Xiaofu. After many years of planning by the lords of the 3,000 boundless worlds, the devil race was almost annihilated. The only one they had to face was the devil ancestor. At this moment, all the experts were hoping that Lu Xiaoyu would be able to easily suppress the devil ancestor. Then, Du Xiaofu would attack and kill him. In this way, the 33 heavens and the 3,000 boundless worlds would truly welcome peace and prosperity. Lu Jingyun and the others watched as Lu Xiaoyu left. Du Xiaofu and the rest of the devil generals had also disappeared. The entire 16th layer of hell was empty. Those weak devil race members had already hidden themselves in some unknown place. At this moment, another loud noise was heard by everyone. It was the dragon god and the others' movements. They had caused quite a commotion. On the other side, in the 17th layer of hell, Du Xiaofu was still carrying out a terrifying pursuit. The remaining 3 devil generals were terrified. The purple-robed youth came with the intent to kill. He swore to cut down all the devil generals with his sword. I don't care so much. Let's fight together. Even if Lu Xiaoyu kills me, I don't want to die in such a humiliating way. Sensing that Du Xiaofu was hot on his heels, Luan Su was on the verge of breaking down. They had been chased by the purple-robed youth. 6 of the original 9 devil generals had already died in his hands. At this moment, only he, the evading shadow devil general, and the shrouded soul devil general were still alive. However, this process was too torturous. Seeing his companions die one after another, Devil General Lin Su had an indescribable grievance in his heart. Back in the ancient era, the 9 great devil generals ruled the devil world and Pangu world. Countless creatures were frightened by them. Even when Pangu and Exalted Celestial were still alive, they wouldn't underestimate them. Yet now, a kid at the half-step Dao vessel realm had actually caused them to suffer such enormous losses. It had to be said that this was indeed enough to make one feel aggrieved. It was too cowardly. When have we, the 9 great demon generals, ever suffered such humiliation? Hearing Luan Su's voice, the fleeing shadow demon general's words were also extremely deep. 2 sharp scarlet lights shot out from his eyes hidden under the hood. To them, Du Xiaofu's existence was the greatest humiliation they had ever suffered in their lives. At this moment, the demon generals only hated the fact that their cultivation levels were not high enough. Otherwise, they would definitely tear that brat into pieces and make him die without a burial ground, never to be reincarnated. I can't take it anymore. Let's fight. Even if we die, we have to skin that brat alive. Endless viciousness rose in Soul Puppet's heart as he gritted his teeth and said hatefully. A resolute will rose in his heart, and he decided to go all out and fight. Just as Luan Su had said, regardless of whether Lu Xiaoyu would allow the 3 great demon generals to attack at the same time, the 3 of them couldn't take it anymore. Even if they were stopped, the 3 great demon generals didn't want to continue fleeing. Being chased around like dogs, they wouldn't be able to escape death in the end. After exchanging glances with each other, the Luan Su demon general, the fleeing shadow demon general, and the Hun Yen demon general steeled their hearts. They instantly stopped moving and gathered together, quietly waiting for Du Xiaofu's arrival. The 3 of you are joining forces? Do you think this will be enough to stop me? Du Xiaofu rushed over with a ferocious aura. Looking at the 3 great demon generals' actions, he couldn't help but sneer. The 9 purple lightning cauldrons were drawn by his aura and scattered in all directions, moving forward together with him. Since you don't want to escape, I won't be courteous. I'll gladly take your lives. Du Xiaofu snorted as he slashed with the broadsword in his hand. The sword radiance shook the world and attacked the heavens and the earth. It didn't take long for him to charge into the encirclement of the 3 demon generals and launch a ferocious attack. The terrifying battle started again. Waves of fierce energy swept across the heavens and the earth, crushing everything. The 3 great demon generals heaved a sigh of relief when Lu Xiaoyu, who was far behind Du Xiaofu, didn't stop them from joining forces this time. Instead, he watched quietly. This outcome was exactly what the 3 of them wanted. They saw a ray of hope. Delay Du Xiaofu, but don't expect to kill him. The three of us will fight as we move. As long as we can hold on until we reach the 18th level of hell, we will act according to the circumstances. Soul Puppet thought quickly. Seeing that Lu Xiaoyu wasn't attacking, he had a new idea. The other two demon generals also agreed with this plan. Then, the three of them surrounded Du Xiaofu and fought. However, they didn't use their full strength. They only wanted to protect themselves and fight in a defensive position. They retreated as they fought, dragging Du Xiaofu with them toward the 18th level of hell. Their thoughts couldn't be hidden from Du Xiaofu, nor could they be hidden from Lu Xiaoyu, who was watching the battle from afar. However, Lu Xiaoyu still didn't interfere. He watched everything calmly as if he were an outsider. Even if the three of you joined forces, you still can't escape death. Du Xiaofu, on the other hand, hardened his heart. After killing the 6 demon generals, he had a thorough understanding of their specific strength. Now that he was fighting 1 against 3, it would be easy for him to not lose. However, this wasn't the result Du Xiaofu wanted. His true goal was to completely eliminate the 9 demon generals before he fought Jiangchen. With this mentality, even if the 3 demon generals deliberately avoided him, Du Xiaofu still attacked with all his might. Powerful sword rays were slashed out, and the origin source Sky Murdering Sword was also used from time to time. At the same time, the 9 purple lightning profound cauldrons rampaged through the void. Monstrous power burst forth, as if they were going to smash through the 17th level of hell. Crackle! Accompanied by a series of violent roars of energy, the fierce battle continued. When the 3 demon generals joined forces, it was truly terrifying. Even the current Du Xiaofu would not have an easy time dealing with them. Occasionally, he would suffer a sudden attack, and the 3 demon generals would succeed in their surprise attacks. However, these didn't cause Du Xiaofu any serious injuries. His aura was still like a rainbow as he rampaged through. On the other hand, the 3 demon generals didn't have any intention of fighting to the death. Under Du Xiaofu's attacks, they suffered repeated attacks. This was a long battle, from the entrance of the 17th level of hell all the way to the depths of the 18th level of hell. During this time, Lu Xiaoyu followed closely behind, quietly watching. Most of his thoughts were no longer on the battle. Instead, he paid close attention to the movements in the 18th level of hell, spying on the demon ancestor's situation. Kill! Du Xiaofu roared, raising his sword and slashing with all his might. The 9 cauldrons also attacked fiercely. After a long battle, crisscrossing wounds had appeared on his body. Blood flowed, soaking his purple robes. However, Du Xiaofu seemed to be unaware of all this. He continued to drag the 3 demon generals into a bloody battle. The other party wanted to avoid the battle, but Du Xiaofu wouldn't let them do as they wished. Under his powerful attacks, Demon General Luan Su, Demon General Evading Shadow, and Demon General Hun Su were also covered in demon blood. They looked extremely miserable. The more they fought, the more fear they felt. Du Xiaofu didn't intend to let the 3 of them go. He was actually risking his life to fight. In this way, they really didn't know if the 3 demon generals could hold on until they saw the demon ancestor in the 18th level of hell. As expected of an ancient demon general, he can still hold on. In the endless battle, Du Xiaofu was injured, and his aura had also withered. The 3 demon generals were strong enough. Even if he had used all his strength, it would be troublesome to get rid of them in a short period of time when they joined forces and wanted to leave. However, Du Xiaofu wasn't in a hurry. He was very patient. Again and again, he attacked with terrifying attacks and continued to kill. The 4 of them were constantly consuming a terrifying amount of energy. Their strength was much weaker than before. Fortunately, Du Xiaofu had the upper hand. He had the 9 cauldrons in his hand. In addition to his own strength, it was really a headache for the 3 demon generals. Demon Ancestor, I'm here again. While paying attention to the fierce battle between Du Xiaofu and the others, Lu Xiaofu's lips moved slightly and said softly. His gaze looked forward as if it had penetrated the barrier of space and entered the depths of the 18th level of hell. He saw the demon ancestor and looked at him. It was unknown when Lu Xiaoyu's expression had become incomparably solemn and serious. There was no trace of a smile on his face. The aura on his body was gradually rising. This rise wasn't obvious, but it was terrifying enough. His powerful cultivation was being mobilized by him. All his strength was like a strong arrow on a bow, stretched taut. Even though he had arranged everything, he was about to enter the 18th level of hell. Lu Xiaofu couldn't be too calm. The final battle was about to arrive. Everything depended on the development of the situation. Only when everything went smoothly could the 33 heavens and the 3,000 boundless worlds be truly preserved. If the demon ancestor was too powerful and they were unlucky enough to fall, the creatures of the two worlds would definitely not be able to escape the fate of being slaughtered. In the end, the 33 heavens and the 3,000 boundless worlds would become the demon domain. The demon ancestor was the true foundation of the demon race. With him, the demon race would naturally prosper. Without him, where would the demon race come from? Xiaolong, Master, Big Brother, Xintong. Lu Xiaofu suddenly put away his thoughts and called out to Xiaolong and the others. He said, "Put aside the matters at hand for now. Let's meet in the 17th level of hell. I'll take Xuelu with me first. When the time is right, I'll inform you to come and fight." As he spoke, Lu Xiaofu's almost inaudible voice was transmitted to the 10th level of hell. Xiaolong, Dibadian, Donghuang Taishen Yonggua, and Lu Xintong were there. The seals of the first 9 levels of hell had all been broken by them. However, the depressing thing was that there were only 3 ancient powerhouses who had survived. This was indeed a painful truth. It was like a heavy mountain pressing down on their hearts. Qi-la. After Lu Xiaofu finished speaking, he gently opened his palm. Then, a huge black hole appeared in the void in front of him. It formed a terrifying chaotic vortex that seemed to be able to devour everything in the world. It was extremely terrifying. If other cultivators were at the meditative realm or below, their primordial spirit and physical body would be torn apart just by looking at such a black hole. They would die without a trace. Such power was too terrifying. However, this was only a part of Lu Xiaofu's power. It was hard to imagine what a terrifying scene it would be if he used his full strength. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The moment the black hole appeared, a burst of cheerful cries filled the air and suddenly appeared in this space. In the black hole, blood-red and golden radiance shone brightly. A long saber rushed out and fell into Lu Xiaofu's palm. This was his Xuelu. Under his gentle summons, it immediately came to the scene. Xuelu. Lu Xiaofu held the long saber in one hand and gently stroked the blade with the other. It was as if he was looking at his closest brother. His eyes were filled with endless closeness. "How many years has it been since we had a real battle?" Lu Xiaofu murmured and said slowly. He looked at the long saber in his hand. It was as if he was dreaming of those glorious days from countless years ago. Those days were filled with passion. During those years, it was the saber in his hand that accompanied him. Step by step, he went against the heavens and walked towards the peak. He himself could not say for sure how many enemies died under the Xuelu's saber and became ghosts. However, after he truly reached the peak, there were not many times when he truly fought with his full strength. He missed that feeling. The only time he could be counted as one was many years ago when he fought against the demon god in the Shenwu world. "Xuelu, Xuelu, I know you have been quiet for a long time. Next, accompany me in a good fight." Lu Xiaoyu spoke softly, but at the end of his words, his entire aura suddenly changed. From the original ordinary and mediocre aura, it became incomparably fierce and decisive. It was as if he was an unsheathed long saber with matchless sharpness. Finally, he glanced at the direction of Du Xiaofu and the 3 demon generals. At this time, the young man in the purple robe and the 3 of them had disappeared from the entrance of the 18th layer of hell. Lu Xiaofu did not delay any longer. His eyes suddenly focused, like 2 sharp swords piercing through the heavens and earth. Voila! Everywhere he looked, a chaotic light rose up. It was as if the clouds were coming out of the mountains. The scene was blurry. Boom, 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 boom. A terrifying tremor shook the entire 17th layer of hell. It was as if the end of the world was coming. The mountains were collapsing, the earth was exploding, the void was melting, The world was shaking, heaven and earth seemed to have turned upside down in an instant. Unimaginable destruction occurred. Everything that could be seen was exploding violently, and those invisible forces could not escape such a fate. The power of the great Tao of the 17th layer of hell was destroyed. Great Tao patterns burst out, and the laws were completely chaotic. It was like a ball of tangled hemp, and then it was crushed by the vigorous force. In just a few breaths of time, the heavens and earth were turned into nothingness. The seal of the 18th layer of hell was broken and directly pierced through. The 17th and 18th layers of space were suddenly connected as one. Demon ancestor, come out and fight. Lu Xiaofu's figure descended. His green robe fluttered, and his hair danced wildly without any wind. With a long shout, the heavens and earth resonated. The two connected spaces were about to collapse. An unconcealable majestic aura appeared on his body. There was an extraordinary power of the great Tao circulating around him, causing him to show a great difference from before. At this moment, Lu Xiaofu looked like a true god. The laws of heaven and earth and the truths of the great Tao were all spread out with him as the center. Just by standing there, he directly changed everything around him. Clang, clang, clang. In Lu Xiaofu's hand, bloodshed emitted a trembling sound, as if the great Tao was shaking. It possessed an incomparably terrifying strength. In the distance, Du Xiaofu and the three demon generals were shocked by this scene. They almost forgot to fight. The eyes of the four were all focused on Lu Xiaofu. They were shocked by the strength he had revealed. Between the 17th and 18th layers of hell was the seal laid down by the great god Pangu. For it to be so easily broken, this was too shocking. And when these two spaces were connected, they were the size of two worlds in the 33 heavens. Such a huge space actually emitted a sound of destruction beneath his feet. Lu Xiaofu's cultivation was actually terrifying. Is the final battle about to begin? After a moment, Du Xiaofu finally suppressed the emotions in his heart and muttered to himself. Seeing his senior brother's posture, how could he not imagine what would happen next? The final battle had arrived. Senior brother Lu Xiaofu had declared war on the demon ancestor. It's time to get rid of you people. Du Xiaofu retracted his gaze and exhaled deeply. He no longer thought about it. His gaze was sharp, like a knife, as he stared at the three demon generals. The final battle had arrived. He couldn't drag them down. After Du Xiaofu made some slight adjustments, he brazenly charged out again, directly attacking the three great demon generals. As soon as he entered this space, Du Xiaofu had already sensed the demon ancestor's presence. His aura was too deep and vast, terrifying. It was hard to imagine how terrifying Jiangchen would be if he fully recovered his peak strength. Because of this, Du Xiaofu realized the urgency of the situation. He no longer held back and pursued the three demon generals fiercely. Hiss hiss. Du Xiaofu's broadsword flashed with sword light. His robes fluttered in the wind as he transformed into a peerless madman. Rumble. Under his control, the 9 lightning cauldrons danced wildly, their killing intent exploding. Chapter 2964. Du Xiaofu's killing intent soared to the heavens. He continued to drag the remaining 3 demon generals into the fray. He had no intention of letting them go. The seal between the 17th and 18th layers of hell had been completely broken. Senior brother Lu Xiaoyu had arrived, and Jiangchen was most likely about to appear as well. Your Excellency, save me. Your Excellency, hurry up and kill Du Xiaofu. In the face of Du Xiaofu's relentless pursuit, the 3 demon generals let out mournful howls. The purple-robed youth seemed to have gone mad. He circled around them, wildly attacking them, completely ignoring his injuries. This situation caused the 3 demon generals to be utterly shocked. However, now that they'd entered the 18th layer of hell, their hopes had only grown. The demon ancestor was in this space. He could sense all of this. If he could deal with Du Xiaofu, then the 3 of them would be able to survive. With that thought in mind, demon generals Lun Su, Evading Shadow, and Enshrouded Soul all cried out, hoping to awaken the slumbering demon ancestor. Your Lord Demon Ancestor can't even fend for himself. Do you expect him to come save you? Du Xiaofu snorted, laughing coldly. His injuries weren't light, and he'd exhausted a great deal of his strength. Along the way, Du Xiaofu had killed 6 demon generals and forced them into a dead end under the joint efforts of 3 demon generals. Du Xiaofu felt a little weak. However, he didn't care. All he wanted to do was kill the last 3. Amidst the fierce battle, Du Xiaofu glanced into the distance. He could sense a terrifying aura swirling around him. This was the power that naturally flowed from Jiangxin's body. It was incomparably terrifying. Scarlet and pitch-black auras spread out, carrying with them a murderous, ruthless, savage, and bloodthirsty auras. As these auras surged, a figure blocked them. They didn't form a storm that would affect Du Xiaofu and the others. This figure wielded a long sword. It was Lu Xiaoyu. Lu Xiaoyu, do you really think I can't kill you? A hoarse howl came from an extremely deep place. It was ferocious and brutal, and it made one's hair stand on end. The aura emanating from Lu Xiaoyu's body was vast and mighty, causing the heaven and earth to tremble violently. It infuriated the fiend ancestor. Talk too much. Come out and fight. If you want to continue hiding like a turtle, then I have no choice but to invite you out. Lu Xiaoyu spoke softly, but his voice was like thunder, breaking through the 9 heavens. He raised the long saber in his hand, and suddenly, a fierce saber light shot out. It cut open the void and directly shot out into the depths. Following the demon ancestor's roar, the demonic aura in the space surged like a thick black fog. The demon ancestor's howl tore through the sky and cracked the earth, causing the sky and earth to crumble and turn into nothingness. Even the primal chaos could no longer exist. Lu Xiaoyu, when this ancestor fully recovers, I'll kill you like a dog. The fiend ancestor shouted again. His hoarse voice sounded like metal rubbing against each other. It was extremely terrifying. He hid like a turtle and tried his best to recover quickly. He didn't want to fight Lu Xiaoyu. That bastard had planned for many years and arranged many things. How could the fiend ancestor easily fall into his trap and put himself in a state of no return? As long as he recovered his strength, he would be able to see Lu Xiaoyu as an ant and directly crush him. Fully recovered? I don't know if you are dumb or if you think I am dumb. Even at this time, you can still speak such naive words. Lu Xiaoyu coldly snickered. He pointed his long saber at the sky and another wave of saber light slashed out, splitting open the sky and splitting the earth. The entire space formed by the 17th and 18th levels of hell was sliced in half by this slash. The power was overwhelming, and it was unstoppable. Under such an attack, the fiend ancestor continued to howl and almost went insane. But he still didn't show himself. He continued to hide and didn't dare to show himself. Since you won't come out, then I will invite you out. Seeing this, Lu Xiaoyu's expression was cold and he spoke out. His expression was solemn, and there seemed to be a hint of fear in it. He didn't know much about Jiangxin's situation. Earlier, when he'd interfered with the fiend ancestor, Lu Xiaoyu had already sensed that something was off. Now, the feeling was even stronger. But now, the time for the ultimate battle had come. Jiangxin, if you don't come out now, I'll take the lives of your capable subordinates. Just as Lu Xiaoyu was about to charge into the depths of the demonic qi, Du Xiaofu roared, his voice loud and clear. As he fought with the 3 demon generals, he saw his senior apprentice brother's grave expression. He couldn't help but recall what he'd said earlier. Jiangxin's strength has recovered far faster than his senior apprentice brother expected. Although he'd been suppressed again, the grave feeling he gave off was even more profound. Du Xiaofu was deeply afraid that something unexpected would happen. If he could use the 3 demon generals' lives to provoke the fiend ancestor to appear, then his senior apprentice brother would have to face him head-on. That would be the best outcome. If Lu Xiaoyu rashly entered, who knew what unimaginable things would happen? Du Xiaofu, I only regret that I didn't awaken long ago. If I had, you wouldn't have been able to live until today. When he heard Du Xiaofu's words, Jiangxin roared again, his voice filled with hatred. Back in the divine martial world, He'd always been slightly stronger than Du Xiaofu. If he'd wanted to kill him, it wouldn't have been impossible. However, back then he was Jiangchen. Although he wasn't friends with Du Xiaofu in name, they were friends in reality. The two of them had helped each other many times, and their friendship ran deep. In addition, back then, Jiangchen was merely the fiend ancestor's physical body. He hadn't awakened his memories, nor had he merged with the fiend ancestor's primordial spirit. Don't you think it's too late to say all this now? Du Xiaofu laughed coldly. His body stepped into the void, and his feet seemed to tread on the veins of the Tao. He was incomparably fierce. He waved his arm, and the 9 cauldrons of divine thunder fiercely moved. Luin Su, who'd been hiding in the void, was smashed out of his hiding place. Demonic blood gushed out of his mouth. Over the years, Du Xiaofu had thought about this many times. He'd discovered an unimaginable truth. When Jiangchen had first awakened his memories, he'd wanted him dead. Back then he'd fought against the demon god alone. In the end he'd risked his life and truly died. In the final moments, Jiangchen had appeared, killed the fiend ancestor, and devoured his primordial spirit. Otherwise, given the friendship between Du Xiaofu and him, how could he not have helped him sooner? If that had been the case, Du Xiaofu wouldn't have had to endure such a tribulation. If it weren't for the help of the Du clan's ancestors and his senior apprentice brother Lu Xiaoyu, he probably would have died, never to come back to life. Thousands of years had passed, and Du Xiaofu had gradually come to understand more and more of the truth. Today, for the sake of his family, his beloved, his friends, his countless citizens, for the sake of the 33 heavens and the 3,000 sectors, and for the sake of all the living beings he cared about, Jiangchen had become a target that he had to kill. Only with the fiend ancestor's death could the world truly be at peace. So, fundamentally speaking, the current Jiangchen was no longer the same Jiangchen he'd been before. There was no longer any friendship between Du Xiaofu and him. The only thing that existed between them was endless hatred. They were enemies of life and death. Either you die or I perish. Du Xiaofu, no matter how many of my people you kill, I'll make sure the people of exalted heaven pay for it with their lives. Jiangchen howled. His hoarse voice was like a sharp blade, capable of piercing through everything. Du Xiaofu immediately felt a wave of dizziness when he heard such a terrifying sound. Fortunately, Lu Xiaoyu acted in time and blocked everything. Du Xiaofu's dizziness only lasted for a moment before disappearing. You're the one who should be having a headache right now. How dare you threaten me? Do you really think I'm afraid of you? Du Xiaofu harumphed coldly. His eyes darted to the evading shadow demon general, one of the 3 demon generals. The camaraderie between him and Jiangchen had vanished long ago, when he'd first entered the first layer of hell. If senior brother Lu Xiaoyu hadn't arrived in time, he feared he really would have died at Jiangchen's hands. Now, Du Xiaofu only saw his opponent as the demon ancestor. Naturally, he wouldn't slack off in the slightest. As soon as he finished speaking, he let out a cold harumph. The purple-robed figure suddenly flashed and disappeared from the sky. In the next instant, he appeared beside the evading shadow demon general. At that moment, the evading shadow demon general had just dodged an attack from a divine lightning cauldron. He let out a sigh of relief, but suddenly, a feeling of extreme danger rose in his heart. Then, Du Xiaofu appeared in front of him and slashed down with his broadsword. The evading shadow demon general's eyes widened as he watched the sword descend upon his head. Die! Roared Du Xiaofu. Sword light flashed, shocking the world. The evading shadow demon general's body was cleaved in half from top to bottom. Demon blood sprayed out like rain. After losing the protection of his physical body, the demon general's primordial spirit tried to flee, but Du Xiaofu stomped down on it. It was truly annihilated, turning into nothingness and ceasing to exist. However, in the process, the evading shadow demon general unleashed a terrifying attack. It pierced through Du Xiaofu's chest, leaving a hole in his front and back. Jiangchen, if you continue to hide like a turtle, I'll have no choice but to kill these demon generals one by one. Of course, even if you appear now, you won't be able to change the outcome," said Du Xiaofu coldly. He didn't care about his injuries at all. Thanks to his indestructible Xian body's automatic recovery, the wound on his chest slowly healed. Whoosh, his figure flashed. He stopped talking to the demon ancestor and went after the demon general Luan Su and the demon general Han Yen. The two demon generals were so shocked that they were on the verge of collapsing. The purple-robed youth had pursued them with the intention of risking his life. Even with the three demon generals' abilities, they couldn't escape their fate. The evading shadow demon general's death was the best example. Lu Xiaoyu watched all of this. When he saw Du Xiaofu's actions, a smile involuntarily appeared on his face, which was filled with an endless solemnity. He held the bloody slaughter blade in his hand and stood motionless in the air. He was no longer in a hurry to challenge the demon ancestor. Instead, he waited quietly as if to see if the demon ancestor could endure. Du Xiaofu, don't be so arrogant. The day this ancestor recovers will be the day you die. Jiang Chen yelled again, charging at Du Xiaofu. However, Lu Xiaoyu used some method to filter out the terrifying sound waves. His murderous intent was neutralized, leaving only his words to reach Du Xiaofu's ears. Jiang Chen couldn't remain calm in the face of a demon general's tragic death. He was furious. I'm right here. If you have the ability, come and kill me, snorted Du Xiaofu coldly. His eyes narrowed and a piercingly cold light surged from them. After that, his figure suddenly attacked, and he charged towards the Hun demon general. Brat, even if I die, I won't let you off so easily, roared the Hun Yen demon general. He no longer dodged. Since Du Xiaofu wanted to kill him, it would be difficult for him to escape this calamity. As he screamed, the Hun Yen demon general's demonic aura surged, transforming into a giant demon head outside his body. Its demonic horns were extended and its fangs were dense. Its bloody maw abruptly opened, and a foul stench surged out, swallowing Du Xiaofu whole. Faced with this, Du Xiaofu didn't slow down in the slightest. He raised his sword and charged straight into the giant maw. Not long after, his figure rushed out from the back of the devil's head. The aura on his body had withered a lot, and the immortal Shen body had been corroded a lot. It looked like it was festering, and it was extremely terrifying. However, Du Xiaofu didn't care about this. He held a figure in his hand, whose entire body was covered in black robes. His true appearance couldn't be seen clearly. Behind him, the demon head formed from demonic aura instantly disintegrated and dissipated like mist. Du Xiaofu raised the broadsword in his hand and slashed down fiercely. Amidst the boundless sharpness, the saber beam cut wantonly, instantly destroying the Hun Yen demon general's body. Even the primordial spirit inside didn't have time to escape. It was destroyed along with him, his body and Dao vanishing. Sensing this scene, the fiend ancestor howled incessantly. He was on the brink of insanity. Du Xiaofu had already killed a second demon general in front of him. This made him infuriated. Of the 9 demon generals, only demon general Lin Su was still alive. He was the only one left. This made the fiend ancestor furious. However, after a long roar, he still didn't move. To the fiend ancestor, there was nothing more important than recovering his strength. Once he reached his peak state, no one in this world could stop him. And if he fell for Du Xiaofu's provocation, he would truly fall into Lu Xiaoyu's trap. By then, it would be too late for regrets. Du Xiaofu, in the future, everything you've done will be returned to you 1,000,000 times over. Jiang Chen yelled, spitting out a string of threats. At the same time, an endless amount of demon qi, accompanied by a blood-red brilliance, rushed out from the depths of the 18th layer of hell. It transformed into a peerless blood spear, intent on killing Du Xiaofu, but was blocked by Lu Xiaoyu. The fiend ancestor was helpless. For now, he couldn't attack. Countless demon generals had already died. In the future, these debts could only be repaid by the 33 heavens and the 3,000 realms. Is that so? Du Xiaofu laughed coldly. His body was stained with the blood of many demon generals, and it trickled down. His gaze shifted, fixed on the last demon general Luan Su. Kill! When these words came out of Du Xiaofu's mouth, his figure had already disappeared from the void in a flash. Demon General Luin Su's proudest technique was his mastery of the laws of time. As an ancient powerhouse, he'd naturally walked his own path. And this path was based on the laws of time. Numerous miraculous fluctuations unfolded around his body. His figure was clearly there, yet it caused others to feel as if they were separated by 1,000 years. It seemed like he was at the upper reaches of space, yet also seemed like he was at the lower reaches of space. He was drifting and unfathomable. But in Du Xiaofu's eyes, this technique wasn't particularly difficult to capture. The strongest in the world are those with great strength. Although all laws are extraordinary and unfathomable, in the face of absolute strength, all laws of the great Tao are illusory. You think I can't do anything to you just because you're hiding in time? Watch me break through all laws. Du Xiaofu muttered to himself. Demon General Luin Su's injuries, compared to his own, were slightly lighter. Du Xiaofu's entire body trembled. The Tao mark that he walked out glowed, imprinted on his forehead. It was incomparably bright, tens of thousands of times brighter than the sun. He brazenly attacked, abandoning his sword. His palms and fingers formed into fists and fiercely punched down, directly towards the illusory Demon General Luin Su. Buzz, buzz, buzz. There was no huge explosion. Instead, there was a terrifying buzzing sound. This buzzing sound was as if the great Tao was collapsing, as if the laws were rubbing against each other, as if the wheel of fate was spinning. It was incomparably terrifying. Following such a commotion, Du Xiaofu's fist directly broke through the formless ripples, and Demon General Luin Su's great Tao defenses collapsed layer by layer. Rumble. In the end, Du Xiaofu's fist actually landed on his chest, letting out a sound like a heavy hammer hitting a drum. This fist directly broke through the barriers of time and space, and blasted Demon General Luin Su out of the endless great Tao, returning to the present world. The 9 demon generals had been sealed for thousands of years, their strength greatly reduced. Compared to the present Du Xiaofu, the difference was too great. In the face of absolute power, no matter how profound your methods are, you cannot escape the fate of death. Du Xiaofu's voice was cold. He leapt forward and caught the flying Demon General Luin Su in his hand. At some unknown time, the heavenly palace of purple gold appeared in his hand, releasing a boundless aura. Du Xiaofu held Demon General Luin Su in one hand and his sword in the other. His robes flapped loudly, and his black hair danced wildly. His feet stepped into the void, and he faced Jiangshan. The 9 demon generals will all die from now on, Du Xiaofu said coldly. Then he raised his sword and slashed down on Demon General Luin Su's body. Demon General Luin Su's body was sliced open like a rag bag, then tossed into the void by Du Xiaofu like trash. His primordial spirit tried to escape, but was snatched away by the purple-robed youth. Under the force of his palm, his primordial spirit exploded. Du Xiaofu, I won't let you get away with this. Jiangshan roared, his hatred surging like a tidal wave. Chapter 2965. The hatred in the demon ancestor's voice was monstrous, but he still suppressed his anger and didn't walk out of his seclusion. The 9 demon generals were all dead. This was an unchangeable fact. Nothing was more important than him recovering his strength. Once he fully recovered and returned to his peak state, all the living beings in the 33 heavens and the 3,000 boundless worlds would be buried with the demon ancestor. The entire world would become a demon domain. Junior brother, take a rest for now. Since the demon ancestor isn't willing to show himself, then let me invite him out. Lu Xiaoyu raised the long saber in his hand and looked at the deepest part of the 18th layer of hell again as he spoke to Du Xiaofu. No. However, Du Xiaofu shook his head and said, rest for what? In addition to the 9 demon generals, there are 2 demon attendants and that old bird. I can sense that the 3 of them are hiding in this space. Since the demon ancestor isn't willing to show himself, then I'll make him completely alone. He exuded a terrifying and domineering aura, looking down on the world with awe-inspiring killing intent. Dong Li Qi Huang and Chen Yan, the 2 demon attendants, were outside the 18 layers of hell. When senior brother Lu Xiaoyu had just returned, he had already discovered that the situation was not good and had fled into the 18 layers of hell to avoid being attacked by the experts of the 33 heavens and the 3,000 boundless worlds. In addition, the blood ancestor hid after the 3 demon generals appeared, and he didn't show up in the subsequent battle. Du Xiaofu killed the 9 demon generals, but the 3 of them still didn't show up. Du Xiaofu naturally wouldn't let go of Dongli Qihuang and Xin Yan. As the claws of the demon race, they were the closest people to the demon ancestor. Besides the demon ancestor and the 9 demon generals, they were the strongest existences in the demon race. The blood ancestor was originally a Xiantian life form in Pangu world. He was incomparably powerful and born from the same egg as the primordial phoenix. However, his personality was at the other extreme, and he was known for his bloodlust. The old bird had attacked Du Xiaofu more than once to seize the chaos origin left behind by Exalted Heavenly Master Exalted. Therefore, Du Xiaofu naturally wanted to kill him as soon as possible. Good. Lu Xiaofu after hearing Du Xiaofu's words, Lu Xiaofu, I'll leave the demon ancestor and the demon attendants and the blood ancestor. After he finished speaking, he suddenly raised his saber and walked through the void step by step, heading towards the depths of the 18th layer of hell. On Lu Xiaoyu's body, a large amount of multicolored light gushed out and enveloped his body, causing his entire person to be shrouded in a mysterious color. Senior brother, senior, be careful. Du S's in Ludovic Devil, Luz. Du Xiaofu was a bit worried, so he tortured the 3 demon generals in an attempt to enrage the demon ancestor and force him to fight. But now, it seemed that Jiangchen's will was very firm. He only wanted to recover his strength. Although he was angry at the deaths of the 3 demon generals, he still endured it. Du Xiaofu prayed silently in his heart, hoping that no major changes would occur. He watched Lu Xiaofu advance. His senior brother's boundless aura made Du Xiaofu feel more at ease. He found it hard to imagine that there really was someone in the enchanting realm who was stronger than his senior brother. Senior brother's strength is truly terrifying. Lu Xiaofu could see some fine traces lingering around Lu Xiaofu's body. These traces were very difficult to discover. If not for Du Xiaofu cultivation, he definitely wouldn't have been able to sense them. He knew that this was Lu Xiaofu Dao, which had been engraved to perfection. It was extremely terrifying. His own Dao has reached perfection. It's completely natural, allowing him to be independent of the world. Even if time and space were to be destroyed and the world turned to dust, a Dao carrier in perfection would still be able to live on peacefully without being affected in the slightest. Du Xiaofu murmured softly. His senior brother Lu Xiaofu had entered the enchanting realm many years ago. Although he hadn't broken through to the final enchanting realm, he'd made steady progress and reached his current level. It was extremely terrifying. To a Dao carrier expert, their greatest characteristic was that they'd broken free from the shackles of heaven and earth. They'd broken free from the shackles of the great Dao and cast aside the rules and restrictions imposed on them by the world destroyers. If the 33 heavens, the 3,000 realms, and the demon world all collapsed and ceased to exist, then all living beings would be annihilated and disappear into nothingness. Because their lives were carried by the great Tao of heaven and earth and the myriad laws of the universe. Without the great Tao and rules, where would living beings come from? Where would all living beings come from? Where would all living beings come from? Where would the vast and colorful world come from? But to Lu Xiaofu's cultivation, it wouldn't be affected in the slightest by the collapse of the great Tao. He'd already transcended the heavens and the earth, transcended himself, and stood above all living beings. The day will come when I'll arrive at such a state as well. Du Xiaofu muttered lightly and muttered to himself. He had a goal in his heart, and his intentions were at the peak. Moreover, he even possessed unshakable faith and will. However, all of this was a matter for the future. The most important thing now was to face the devil ancestor and annihilate this ancient ferocious beast with his senior brother Lu Xiaofu. Dongli Qihuang, Xin Yan, are the 2 of you going to come out yourselves, or should I go get the 2 of you? Du Xiaofu restrained his thoughts and asked loudly. Vast sound waves spread through the surroundings, resounded through the heavens and the earth, and penetrated through space. He stood on the spot and didn't make a move impatiently, and he utilized the energy of his soul core instead to carefully observe the minute movements in this level of space. He wanted to find Eastern Flame Crimson Phoenix and Qin Yen before crushing them. It was also at this moment that senior brother Lu Xiaofu's figure had already disappeared. He had entered the depths of the boundless demonic qi and disappeared. Chi, boom boom boom. Following that, a wave of saber light pierced through the air and a huge tremor came from inside. Collision after collision occurred. Clearly, Lu Xiaofu had already started fighting with the devil ancestor. Lu Xiaofu, do you really think I don't dare to kill you first? The devil ancestor roared furiously, incomparably furious. Lu Xiaofu had caused a huge disturbance to him, interrupting his recovery process. Layers of terrifying auras rose into the sky, going against the heavens. Accompanied by the terrifying chaotic aura, this space seemed to be about to be destroyed. However, all of this was isolated in the depths of the 18 levels of hell and didn't really affect the entire space. Finally found it. Du Xiaofu observed for a long time. Finally, at a certain moment, the corners of his mouth curled up into a cold smile. He muttered to himself, "Let's see where you can hide this time." After a strict investigation, he'd finally found the tracks of Dongli Crimson Phoenix and Qin Yen, and they revealed themselves before his senses. Du Xiaofu didn't need to think. In an instant, he stretched out his hand and turned it into a huge dragon claw that tore through the void. Half of his arm disappeared into nothingness. Shortly after, when he retracted his arm, two figures appeared in his palm. Dongli Qihuang, Qin Yen. Du Xiaofu's eyes flickered with a cold light. He looked coldly at the two people in his hand and brought them to his side. He couldn't be more familiar with these two people. Besides the two demon attendants, who else could it be? Du Xiaofu, let's go. The demon ancestor. Lord won't let you go. Extreme fear had already appeared on Dongli Qihuang's handsome face. He was anxious and uneasy, as if he was scared out of his wits. He was grabbed in Du Xiaofu's hand like a little chick, and he didn't have the slightest strength to resist. Let you go. Du Xiaofu sneered and looked disdainfully at Dongli Qihuang. He mocked, "Your demon ancestor can't even take care of himself at this time. Could it be that the two of you still expect him to save you?" His smile was eerie, like a terrifying evil lord, with a hint of brutality. Du Xiaofu, it's useless even if you kill us. So long as the demon ancestor is still alive, the devil race will trample through the 33 heavens and kill their way into the 3,000 worlds. Everyone will be unable to escape death. Chen Yan's expression wasn't any better than Dongli Qihuang, but he still tried his best to calm his tone and shouted loudly at Du Xiaofu. After he spoke these words, he roared fiercely once more, and his expression was extremely savage as he repeated, "Everyone will be unable to escape death. You won't be an exception." Chen Yan's face was already warped to the extreme. He hated Du Xiaofu to the bone, but his fate was in Du Xiaofu's hands now. Besides finding some strength in his words, he couldn't do anything. The two demon attendants were already clearly aware at the moment they were captured by Du Xiaofu that they were absolutely unable to escape death today. But before they died, they still couldn't help but speak some ruthless words. Not to mention whether your demon ancestor can survive in the end. Even if he can, it has nothing to do with the two of you. Du Xiaofu laughed sinisterly as he spoke. Du Xiaofu was determined to kill Dongli Qihuang and Qin Yen. He wouldn't show them the slightest bit of mercy. Setting aside their grudges in Shenwu world, over the years, the two demon attendants had tried to kill him more than once. Then there was the fact that Du Xiaofu was enemies with the devil race. How could he possibly let them live? I don't have time to squabble with you. I'll send the two of you on your way now. With the 9 demon generals in front of you, you won't feel lonely. As Du Xiaofu spoke, he deliberately raised his voice, gathered it into a beam, and charged into the depths of the 18th layer of hell. He wanted Jiangxin to hear him and focus on him. With that, Du Xiaofu gripped the heavenly tower of purple and gold with his other hand and slashed down. Squelch, squelch, two sounds resounded, and then Dongli Crimson Phoenix and Chen Yan were instantly beheaded. With Du Xiaofu's current cultivation, killing these two people was as easy as slaughtering chickens and dogs. Even the primordial spirits of the two great devil attendants were directly reduced to nothingness under the explosion of the sword light. After that, Du Xiaofu let out a light shout. He lifted up the two devil attendants' damaged bodies and suddenly tossed them away. They drew a few perfectly straight lines in the air and directly smashed into the deepest part of the 18th level of hell. Roar! The demon ancestor let out a terrifying roar that pierced through metal and cracked stone. He was finally enraged. Du Xiaofu, I won't let you get away with this. He roared hatefully. However, just as he finished speaking, Lu Xiaoyou's soft snort sounded again. Do you still want to continue hiding? Then, waves of ferocious sword light sliced through the air, piercing through the clouds and shaking heaven and earth. In Du Xiaofu's eyes, in the depths of this space, light surged into the heavens, surging for millions of kilometers. Within this light, profound and complex patterns of the Great Tao rose, carrying a unique charm that was completely different from the Great Tao of this world. Rumble, Lu Xiaoyu and the demon ancestor were fighting. Although they couldn't see the specifics of the battle, it wasn't difficult to determine the intensity of the battle based on the terrifying movements. The entire space shook violently, on the verge of collapse. And this was the result of their deliberate control. One could imagine that if they went all out, it wouldn't take long for this space to turn into nothingness. Even the primordial chaos would find it difficult to exist. All that's left is that old bird with mixed feathers. Du Xiaofu narrowed his eyes and carefully probed with the power of his primordial spirit. 9 great demon generals and 2 great demon servants had died at his hands. Now, there weren't many top experts left in the devil race. The only one who could pose a threat to the 33 heavens and the 3,000 boundless worlds was the blood ancestor. That old ghost was very cunning. He had entered the 18th level of hell a long time ago, hoping to borrow the demon ancestor's protection. Ever since the blood ancestor walked out of the burial space mountain in the Yinqiong Wudao heaven, every time he attacked, he suffered great injuries. First, Lu Xiaoyu cut off one of his wings. Then, in the 18th level of hell, he was injured by Du Xiaofu. After so many years, the blood ancestor must have recovered some of his strength. But it was impossible for him to be too strong. Du Xiaofu naturally wasn't the least bit afraid of this. He carefully explored the first corner of this space, hoping to find the blood ancestor's true body. In terms of cultivation, the blood ancestor was far, far stronger than the 2 demon servants. Since he had deliberately concealed himself, it would be relatively difficult for Du Xiaofu to find him. I want to see how long this old bird with mixed feathers can hide. Du Xiaofu's eyes were clear as he scanned the area. Occasionally, he would raise the broadsword in his hand and slash down, causing the area to shatter and turn into a chaotic state. Finding the blood ancestor would require a certain amount of effort. As long as Du Xiaofu found something suspicious, he would immediately take action. Finally, at a certain moment, just as Du Xiaofu was about to slash out with his sword, a blood-colored figure shot into the sky and fled into the distance. This figure was the blood ancestor. He had been forced out by Du Xiaofu, but as soon as he appeared, he continued to flee and quickly disappeared into the void. The blood ancestor had already seen how terrifying this purple-robed young man was in the dark. The 9 demon generals had died at his hands, which made his heart turn cold. How would he dare to face Du Xiaofu? Since you've shown yourself, do you think I'll let you escape? Du Xiaofu raised his eyebrows and smiled sinisterly. His figure flew out, dragging the purple-gold heavenly palace with him. The 9 divine thunder cauldrons also followed him like shadows. Since the blood ancestor had revealed his traces, with Du Xiaofu's current cultivation he naturally couldn't let the other party successfully hide. He dashed towards his target, and the murderous aura around his body surged wildly. Kill! Du Xiaofu's broadsword slashed out, as if it was splitting heaven and earth. Rumble! The 9 purple lightning cauldrons also rushed forward quickly, like 9 majestic mountains moving, crushing heaven and earth into a state of chaos. When this series of attacks landed, a miserable cry was heard. It came from the blood ancestor. "Human brat, I'll fight you to the death." The blood ancestor finally appeared. His hideous and ugly old face was twisted into a ball, and his eyes were filled with unconcealable hatred as he looked at Du Xiaofu. At this time, the blood ancestor's broken arm had been reforged and was in perfect condition. The aura on his body had also recovered a lot compared to when he was heavily injured. However, all of this was nothing in front of Du Xiaofu. The blood ancestor knew this in his heart, so the moment he appeared, he immediately transformed into the Hell Blood Phoenix. A pair of huge blood-red wings spread out in the void, and he directly pounced on Du Xiaofu. Huff, 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 scarlet light burst out, and the smell of blood filled the air. The sky was completely filled with blood-red light, and Du Xiaofu's face was reflected with the color of blood. He looked at the blood ancestor's attack and stood still, holding the broadsword in his hand. "I'm right here, but this time, you won't have the slightest ability to fight back. The chaos origin left behind by Heavenly Lord Daluo is no longer with you." Du Xiaofu snorted coldly, raised his sword, and brazenly attacked. The sword light was like a long rainbow that pierced through heaven and earth, ferocious and peerless. The blood ancestor wanted to fight head-on, which was exactly what Du Xiaofu wanted. Chi! The shocking sword light streaked across the sky, faster than lightning. The 9 purple lightning profound cauldrons also crushed down with the force of 10,000 kilograms. Under such a scene, the blood ancestor's figure was surrounded by the 9 cauldrons, and all of his escape routes were sealed. In the end, the sword light directly slashed the Hell Blood Phoenix's body, causing blood to splatter everywhere. The blood ancestor had no choice but to hurriedly retreat. "Old bird, go to hell!" Du Xiaofu shouted, his voice like thunder, shocking the heavens. His figure flickered, and in a flash, he appeared where the blood ancestor's body was. The purple-gold heavenly sword in his hand suddenly slashed the Hell Blood Phoenix's body, and the purple-robed figure rushed out of the hole. Behind him, the huge Hell Blood Phoenix's body instantly lost its vitality, like a huge blood cloud that suddenly bore the weight of thousands of tons, falling straight from the sky. Boom! The explosion shook the heavens as the blood ancestor's body smashed into the ground, causing the entire ground to sink thousands of miles. It was terrifying. As a creature of the Panga realm, you helped the evildoers, colluded with the demon race, and killed your own kind. You old ghost, even if you die 10,000 times, it won't be enough to pay for your heinous sins. Du Xiaofu said coldly, almost gritting his teeth as he spoke. He held a ball of light in his hand, exuding a violent and murderous aura, and even fluctuations of vitality. Chapter 2966. This ball of light was the blood ancestor's primordial spirit. He had captured it and bound it in his hand, making it unable to escape. Du Xiaofu's eyes shone with a cold light, carrying a deep sense of hatred. To some extent, the blood ancestor was even more hateful than the devil ancestor. He was a creature of Panga world, born from the great Tao. He was in existence on the same level as the ancestor dragon, primordial phoenix, and primordial qilin. He had the ability to become the ancestor of all creatures and obtain a supreme status. However, the blood ancestor was born bloodthirsty. Not only did he fail to help Panga world in the ancient demon war, he even brought disaster to Panga world. He led the creatures of Qiansu Jinghua Heaven and started a bloody massacre with the demons. Du Xiaofu did not have the slightest bit of mercy towards such people. The only thing he could do was to kill them. "I really should suppress your primordial spirit for eternity and burn it with the 9 heavens' divine flame. I'll let you suffer the pain of being burned in purgatory." Du Xiaofu raised the ball of light in front of his eyes and said softly. A small Hell Blood Phoenix was struggling in the ball of light, trying to break free from his control. Just as Du Xiaofu said, he really wanted to execute the blood ancestor and make him suffer the most miserable punishment in the world. However, at this moment, his senior brother Lu Xiaoyu was fighting the devil ancestor. The real battle had already begun. He didn't have time to arrange more methods to deal with the blood ancestor. Letting you die so easily is too easy for you, Du Xiaofu said with a bit of melancholy. Then, power burst out of his hand like crazy. This terrifying power poured onto the blood ancestor's primordial spirit, causing him to let out a series of miserable screams. He was in incomparable pain. Ah ah ah! The blood ancestor's screams pierced through heaven and earth. Finally, Du Xiaofu clenched his fist, and all the sounds stopped abruptly. The blood-colored primordial spirit turned into ashes and dissipated between heaven and earth. It no longer existed. 9 demon generals, 2 demon attendants, the blood ancestor, and countless demons are all dead. Only the devil ancestor is left of the ancient slaughterer who slaughtered all living beings. Du Xiaofu let out a long sigh and muttered to himself. The deaths of the 9 demon generals, the 2 demon servants, the blood ancestor, and the other experts could be considered as a consolation for the 18 experts who had fallen in the ancient war and were sealed in the 18 levels of hell. As long as everything went smoothly, the demon ancestor would not be able to live for much longer. Du Xiaofu turned his gaze to the depths of the 18th layer of hell, watching the battle between Lu Xiaoyu and Jiangchen. In his perception, the two of them had collided in the most terrifying way possible. Although most of the energy had been isolated, Du Xiaofu could still feel the intensity of the battle. Whether it was Lu Xiaoyu or the demon ancestor, they were both the strongest existences in the world. The battle between them was especially terrifying. Vaguely, waves of special power of the great Tao were emitted. It was frightening. Lu Xiaoyu, you can't beat me. How can this ancestor's means be what you can withstand? Even if you've been planning for thousands of years, you won't be able to change this ancestor's ultimate slaughter. Whether it's the 33 heavens or the 3,000 realms, they'll all become demon realms. Jiangchen's voice rang out, followed by a huge, muffled boom. Clearly, a new round of collisions had taken place. Is that so? Then what are you hiding in here for? Let's go out and fight. Lu Xiaoyu harumphed coldly. Don't think that just because you're hiding in the place where you transformed into the Tao, I can't do anything to you. As he spoke, the light of a blade tore through the air and attacked madly. In an instant, the combined space of the 17th and 18th layers of hell began to tremble. The universe was spinning, the earth was overturned, heaven and earth were exploding, the void was collapsing, and the primordial chaos was boiling. Everything was a scene of doomsday. It was extremely terrifying. Lu Xiaoyu and Jiangchen's battle had finally affected the entire space. When he saw this terrifying scene, Du Xiaofu couldn't help but retreat again and again until he reached the edge of the space. The roaring and howling power was so terrifying that he didn't dare touch it in the slightest. Crackle! Under Du Xiaofu's perception, the terrifying devil chi and scarlet light in the deepest part of the space suddenly exploded, and 2 figures rushed out from within. One of them wore green robes and wielded a blood-gold longsword. It shone with a dazzling light and was incomparably fierce. The other had the body of a beast. Its entire body was covered in blood-red fur, and it covered every inch of its body from head to toe. Only its face and claws were exposed. Who else could it be but the demon ancestor from the primordial blood massacre era? Lu Xiaoyu, you forced me to come out. I hope you don't regret this. The demon ancestor's face was incomparably ferocious. His blood-red hair fluttered like tentacles in the air. Around him, heaven and earth collapsed and primordial chaos curled around him. Destructive light shot out, scarlet energy surged, and the power of slaughter surged. So this is the demon ancestor's true demonic body. Seeing his senior brother Lu Xiaoyu and the demon ancestor appear, Du Xiaofu, who was standing far away, couldn't help but whisper in shock. The demon ancestor Luo Ho had walked out of the primordial chaos. He was an ancient god fiend with a true demonic body. From his appearance, Du Xiaofu could see some of Jiang Chen's shadow. However, there were still some differences. On the demon ancestor's body, the murderous and bloody aura was even more intense. His aura was even more ferocious and terrifying. At the same time, the color of his fur was even more dazzling, and his claws were even sharper. It's good that you're willing to come out. Today's battle will end everything. Hearing the demon ancestor's words, Lu Xiaoyou's expression was not as serious as before. Instead, it was slightly relaxed. Previously, the demon ancestor had been hiding in the place where he had transformed. That was the place where the demon ancestor had created the demonic world. It contained an extremely terrifying power that would be of great help to the demon ancestor's recovery. Because of this, he had been hiding there. Even though Du Xiaofu had killed the 3 demon generals, the 2 demon attendants, and the demon ancestor right in front of him, he was still unwilling to come out. However, under the influence of Lu Xiaoyou's attack, the demon ancestor was finally forced to come out and fight. Lu Xiaoyu, since I have come out today, I must take your life, the demon ancestor said in a harsh voice. He was an ancient demon ancestor. The moment he appeared, he would bring with him a sky full of bloody rain and take away countless lives. However, Lu Xiaoyu did not believe this. He merely hissed and began to attack. Bloody slaughter, fight with me! He screamed and threw the bloody sword in his hand into the sky. The long sword expanded in the wind and turned into 1,000,000 feet long. It then slashed down. At the same time, Lu Xiaoyou's black hair crazily danced in the wind. His body rushed forward and his hands formed strange seals. They turned into a bright swastika symbol and suppressed. Roar! The demon ancestor did not waste any more time. He roared and his pair of sharp claws tore through the sky and ground. He tore through the entire space and began a violent collision with Lu Xiaoyu. Kung King! When the demon ancestor's claws and Lu Xiaoyou's blade collided, there was an explosive sound. It was as if the god of thunder's hammer had broken through the sky, causing the entire universe to tremble. The blade was blocked by him. Then, his claws violently tore through the swastika symbol that Lu Xiaoyu had created. Godly thunder cauldron! Lu Xiaoyu shouted and waved his hand in the air. Walala! The 9 purple thunder cauldrons on Du Xiaofu's body drew 9 terrifying lines. They plowed through the sky and ground into a mess as they smashed towards the demon ancestor. The 9 cauldrons were originally Lu Xiaoyou's items. They had accompanied him for many years. Even though they were now under the control of Du Xiaofu, Lu Xiaoyu could still use them as if they were his own arms. What a terrifying battle! At this time, Du Xiaofu was in a daze. He looked at the battle in the distance and was extremely shocked. Whether it was senior brother Lu Xiaoyu or the demon ancestor, both of them had displayed unimaginable strength. If the battle between the 2 of them was deliberate, it could definitely cause the entire universe to collapse into nothingness and return to chaos. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Just as Du Xiaofu was in shock, a few figures flashed beside him. Xiaolong, Di Batyin, Donghuang Taishen, Yanggua, and Lu Xintong suddenly appeared and came to his side. After these people arrived, they were all extremely horrified by what they saw. The entire space was overturned. The light of chaos flowed and fell from the sky. It was extremely magnificent and gorgeous. It was like a beautiful scene. However, such a beautiful scene contained the most terrifying destructive power in the world. Xiaolong, Di Batyin, Donghuang Taishen, Yanggua, Lu Xintong, and Du Xiaofu did not speak. They were all looking at the battle in horror. They had gathered here under Lu Xiaoyou's arrangement to deal with the demon ancestor together. Once Lu Xiaoyu exhausted the demon ancestor, it would be time for Xiaolong and the other 4 to continue suppressing him. As for Du Xiaofu, he would need to contribute at the last moment and finally kill the demon ancestor. Huff, huff, huff. The battle between Lu Xiaoyu and the demon ancestor continued. The 2 of them fought fiercely. It was not something that could be described as heaven and earth lost their color, and the sun and moon lost their light. In the end, the terrifying collision between the 2 of them no longer produced loud bangs. Instead, it was like the sound of flowing water. That was the sound of chaos flowing. Large amounts of energy surged in the sky and on the ground. The space was on the verge of collapse and was about to completely disintegrate. Suppress! Lu Xiaoyu continued to shout. After a terrifying shout, he suddenly shook his hand and threw out a round of terrifying 8 trigrams. Within the 8 trigrams diagram, a world appeared. It was no different from the real world. The rules of the Great Tao and the order of Dharma and Logos were complete. The power of the world was added to the 8 trigrams diagram and turned into a huge millstone. It came down on the demon ancestor. Ao Ao. The demon ancestor let out a shrill cry that pierced through the sky. Even though they were very far away, Du Xiaofu, Xiaolong, and the others felt their hearts tremble. They were about to lose their footing. How could they dare to be careless? They immediately sealed their hearing and hid at the edge of the space. At the same time, the energy in their bodies circulated continuously to eliminate the terrifying killing intent. That Void 8 trigrams technique is actually so powerful in Senior Brother's hands. Du Xiaofu found it hard to calm down. Seeing Senior Brother's attacks again and again, he was deeply shocked. He could also use the Void 8 trigrams, and under his own comprehension, he had even fused it to a deeper level. However, compared to Senior Brother's current technique, it was still too weak. It was not difficult for Du Xiaofu to feel that there was a strong chaos origin energy in it. Under Senior Brother Lu Xiaoyou's Tao of hegemony, it gave birth to the most terrifying power. Mastering the chaos origin is the biggest characteristic of the Tao-bearing realm. If you want to break through the illusion, you have to comprehend the complete chaos origin energy. In other words, you have to bring your Tao to perfection. Watching the battle, Du Xiaofu's heart was filled with shock. At the same time, he was also pondering and comprehending some things. For example, Great God Pangu, Heavenly Lord Absolute Luo, the demon ancestor, and the people who had opened up the 3,000 boundless worlds were all creatures of the chaos. They had all walked out of the chaos origin energy and were born with the chaos origin energy. 4 Xiantian and Hotian life forms, all of this could only be obtained by relying on their own cultivation step by step. This point could only be achieved by engraving one's own Tao. Engraving one's own Tao, Du Xiaofu carefully comprehended. Through the battle in front of him, he could increasingly sense the existence of the chaos origin energy. Under such circumstances, he fell into deep thought and began to multitask. On one hand, he watched the terrifying battle between Senior Brother Lu Xiaoyu and the demon ancestor. On the other hand, he mobilized the energy in his body, wanting to engrave his own Tao runes again. Within his body, tiny traces of energy were drawn out by him, finally gathering together and entering his mind's Naiwen palace. Earlier, when he'd comprehended and broken through to the half-step Tao realm, he'd only managed to carve a single dot on the forehead of the red-bone horse monkey's primordial spirit. That dot could be considered as his own grand Tao pattern, and it possessed boundless strength. But even so, Du Xiaofu felt that this was far from enough. If he wanted to reach perfection, he could only continue to work hard. On the side, Xiaolong, who had been watching the battle with rapt attention, suddenly raised his eyebrows and glanced at Du Xiaofu, a look of surprise in his eyes. He's still comprehending at this time, this boy. He discovered that Du Xiaofu had actually fallen into a state of cultivation, and he couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. As for the purple-robed youth, under his observation, he quickly stopped paying attention to the battle. All of his attention was drawn back, and he began to engrave Tao runes with all his strength. Du Xiaofu was working hard. In his mind, the thin sword condensed once more. He wanted to continue engraving on the red-bone horse monkey's primordial spirit. What a strange boy. Di Batian sighed with emotion and said. The few beside him also turned their heads and looked at Du Xiaofu for a while. The feeling in their hearts was indescribable. Let him comprehend as he wishes. Every time this boy's strength increases, our chances of winning will also increase. Yang Gua said softly. When the others heard this, they all nodded in agreement. If they wanted to kill the demon ancestor, they would ultimately have to rely on Du Xiaofu. This boy's strength was very likely to affect the final outcome. Boss should be able to win the battle against the demon ancestor, right? Xiaolong turned his head and looked at the terrifying battle in the distance again with a worried expression. The strength that Lu Xiaofu had displayed was almost the same as the demon ancestors. The two of them were fighting so fiercely that time and space were overturned, and heaven and earth were crumbling. However, Xiaolong was still very worried. After all, that was the demon ancestor, an ancient god-fiend. His strength was unparalleled. Comparatively speaking, the old Du Xiaofu's cultivation was still much weaker than the demon ancestors. Fortunately, the demon ancestor had yet to recover from his injuries. This gave them hope of winning in the end. Big brother will definitely be fine, Lu Xintong said with her beautiful eyes. She seemed to have the most confidence in Lu Xiaofu and firmly believed that her brother would be able to suppress the demon ancestor in the end. Let's get ready to attack as well. Once Xiaofu needs help, we must attack immediately and suppress the demon ancestor, Di Batian said to the few people beside him. Lu Xiaofu alone was not enough to completely suppress the demon ancestor. He still needed their help. At this time, the battle over there was abnormally intense and had reached a white-hot level. The most terrifying collision could happen at any time, and when that happened, it would be time for half-step carrier realm cultivators like them to take the field. The five of them stopped talking and no longer paid attention to Du Xiaofu's condition. All of them pulled themselves together and carefully watched the terrifying battle in the field. Lu Xiaofu, this ancestor said that he would definitely make you regret it. Facing the attack of Lu Xiaofu's saber light, the demon ancestor opened his mouth and spat out an immeasurable amount of power, shattering it. Then, he roared loudly as if he was about to go berserk. Lu Xiaofu's eyes darkened, but he did not reply. However, what happened next caused his heart to sink. After the demon ancestor roared, his true demon body dashed forward rapidly. His sharp claws tore through Lu Xiaofu's attack and headed straight for Du Xiaofu, Xiaolong, Di Batian, Donghuang Taixin, Yanghua, and Lu Xintong. Such a move made Lu Xiaofu feel somewhat dignified. The demon ancestor had actually abandoned him and turned his attention to the few half-step carrier realm cultivators. Obviously, he wanted to crush them with his absolute strength. However, Lu Xiaofu was not someone to be trifled with. He immediately moved and chased after the demon ancestor, preparing to stop him. But in the next moment, something shocking happened. "Get out of my way!" The demon ancestor roared, and a pair of sharp claws suddenly grabbed at the void. As if they had turned into millions of feet long, they directly reached into the deepest part of the space. In the next moment, a hazy blood-red light was thrown out by the demon ancestor's claws towards Lu Xiaofu. The moment the blood-red light appeared, Lu Xiaofu's heart sank as he felt an extremely dangerous aura. Lu Xiaofu could not help but blurt out, and his whole person became extremely solemn. This was a huge unforeseen event that caught him off guard. It was completely out of his expectations. The blood-red light that the demon ancestor threw out had appeared too abruptly and was completely unexpected. Caught off guard, it crashed towards Lu Xiaofu. Facing such a blow, even if he was at his peak, he would not dare to casually face it head-on. Chapter 2967. I've said it before. As long as I'm born, I'll be accompanied by blood and death. The demon ancestor said fiercely. The blood-red light in his hand was extremely terrifying, as if it was the most ferocious existence in the world. It was even stronger than the demon ancestor himself. After saying that, the demon ancestor did not charge at Lu Xiaoyu. Instead, he charged at Du Xiaofu and the others. "Be careful," Lu Xiaoyu warned. However, facing the blood-red ball of light, his expression became extremely solemn. He waved the long saber in his hand, releasing a terrifying aura to meet the attack. The power that the demon ancestor suddenly brought out was abnormally strong. When it exploded, it created a world-destroying commotion and sent Lu Xiaoyu's body flying. Rumble. The space could no longer withstand it and completely disintegrated, turning into nothingness. Chaotic light shot out, and only a small area remained. That was where the demon ancestor had been in seclusion. Under the impact of the ferocious power, Lu Xiaoyu's physical body and primordial spirit suffered an unimaginable shock. He could not help but spit out a mouthful of blood, and his entire face turned gray. Fortunately, the blood-red light was also destroyed by his saber and returned to nothingness. At that moment, he immediately looked at where Du Xiaofu and the others were. He could not help but be shocked to death. A puny post-celestial life form wants to kill me. Du Xiaofu, I don't know if I should say that you're too arrogant or that you've never seen my power. The demon ancestor brought with him a boundless ferocious aura and instantly charged at Du Xiaofu and the others. Xiaolong, Di Batyan, Donghuang Taishen, Yanghua, and Lu Xintong were unable to move or speak under the powerful aura. It was as if they had been immobilized and could not move at all. They could only watch as the demon ancestor approached Du Xiaofu. At that moment, the purple-robed youth's situation was similar to Xiaolong and the others. However, because he was comprehending, his eyes were slightly closed. Even if he sensed that the demon ancestor was coming, he could not dodge. I've already said that I'll kill you. Today, let's end it here and now. The demon ancestor shouted. His sharp claws merged into one and formed a ball of black light. Within the black light, it was as if there was a purgatory world hidden. Within it, there were ghosts' howls, blood, demons, and ghosts' miserable screams. Du Xiaofu die. In the next moment, the ball of black light was shot out by the demon ancestor. It directly pressed down on Du Xiaofu's chest. For the demon ancestor, he naturally knew how important Du Xiaofu was in Lu Xiaoyou's arrangement. If he killed Du Xiaofu, no one in the world could really kill him. Therefore, when the demon ancestor attacked, he did not show any mercy. He wanted to kill Du Xiaofu with a single blow. Junior brother. Lu Xiaoyu immediately shouted. His eyes were filled with extreme shock. He did not need to think at all. He directly mobilized all the power in his body and charged at Du Xiaofu. However, it was too late to save Du Xiaofu. The time he was blocked by the demon ancestor was enough for Du Xiaofu to die 100 times. Great Thousand Cage, suppress him. Under such circumstances, Lu Xiaoyu immediately made a decision and instantly activated an invisible force. Rays of invisible force dispersed from his body, pierced through the barrier of space, and connected to the outside world. At this moment, outside the 18 levels of hell, in the boundless star field, numerous large stars rumbled and trembled as they revolved at a rapid speed. Next, the giant ball of chaotic energy was being consumed. It was melting at a speed that was visible to the naked eye. It turned into a torrential amount of energy that entered the array and triggered an even more terrifying power. This ball of chaotic energy was left behind by Pangu. It was acquired by Lu Xiaoyu. He placed it in the galaxy and used it to create a new array. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Following the violent eruption of the formation, countless stars began to revolve, and a ferocious power surged. In a short period of time, Lu Xiaoyu had complete control over it, and he was able to transfer it for him. In the broken space, one could see a pillar of light that pierced through the sky. It then smashed down and headed straight for the demon ancestor. The pillar of light came suddenly. As if it appeared out of thin air, the demon ancestor's body was blasted out of space. Then, Lu Xiaoyou's figure appeared again and came to Du Xiaofu's side. However, the shocking thing was that the ball of dark light that the demon ancestor had shot out had already entered his body. Under Lu Xiaoyou's gaze, the purple-robed young man's body was about to explode and turn into nothingness. He did not dare to be careless. With a wave of his arm, a layer of light enveloped Du Xiaofu. Under the interference of the light, the collapse of Du Xiaofu's body was finally under control. However, Lu Xiaoyu did not stop. He continued to shoot out layers of light, which were like thin layers of gauze. Very quickly, Du Xiaofu's entire body disappeared. He was completely covered and turned into a huge cocoon of light. Boss, Xiaoyu, brother. At this moment, Xiaolong, Di Batyan, Donghuang Taishen, Yanghua, and Lu Xintong finally broke free from the demon ancestor's shackles. They quickly rushed forward and watched Lu Xiaoyou's actions. Each of them had an extremely solemn expression on their faces as they watched Lu Xiaoyu shoot out layer after layer of light. His face was covered with bean-sized beads of sweat, which rolled down his face. His anxiety was obvious. However, Lu Xiaoyu had no intention of stopping. He continued to move his hands, and the energy in his body was rapidly depleted. As time passed, the light cocoon around Du Xiaofu's body grew bigger and bigger. Vigorous energy passed through the light cocoon into his body in order to protect his life. Lu Xiaoyou's entire body was getting more and more tired and weak. Such a situation made Xiaolong, Dibatian, and the others extremely worried. How could this be? Xiaolong muttered. The veins on his forehead were throbbing. He could not believe such an outcome. The demon ancestor had actually displayed such powerful strength and suddenly attacked Du Xiaofu, causing unimaginable damage to him. If Boss had not acted in time, the purple-robed young man would have died in the demon ancestor's hands. Chi. Lu Xiaoyu finally stopped. Looking at the huge light cocoon in front of him, he could not help but heave a sigh of relief. However, he staggered in the void and almost fell down. Clearly, he had exhausted too much energy. Lu Xiaoyou's green robe was also soaked in sweat, as if he had been fished out of the water. He wanted to protect Du Xiaofu's life, and he had used all his strength. Boss. Xiaolong rushed forward and supported Lu Xiaoyu. At the same time, he could not help but look at the light cocoon around Du Xiaofu. His eyes were filled with worry. Dibatian, Donghuang Taishen, Yanghua, and Lu Xintong also gathered around, and all of them looked extremely serious. The demon ancestor's attack was too sudden, and his strength was extraordinarily powerful. Even Lu Xiaoyu could not block it. Lu Xiao, you can't save him. I have used my own chaos origin energy to penetrate his body. Even if Pangu is here, he will not be able to survive. At this time, the demon ancestor's eerie voice rang in the void. Then, the horrifying beast flew up into the air and stared at Lu Xiaoyu and the others with hatred and delight in its eyes. I have already said that I will make you regret it. Now that Du Xiaofu is dead, what can you do to me? The demon ancestor laughed arrogantly and covered his chest with one of his long, furry claws. His aura also showed signs of weakness and dispiritedness. Apparently, Lu Xiaoyou's light beam attack had injured him quite badly. With Pangu's chaos origin energy as the source of energy, in addition to the power of countless stars, the attack was unimaginable. Even an existence like the demon ancestor was greatly injured. At this time, even though the demon ancestor was just standing in the air, his body was not stable. He was not in a better state than Lu Xiaoyu. Both of them had used up too much energy and were not as strong as before. How did you? Lu Xiaoyou's eyes flashed. Although he felt weak, he still wanted to fight. He found it hard to understand. The demon ancestor's body and primordial spirit had been separated and suppressed for countless years. After they had completely merged, the speed of recovery should not be so fast. It was also impossible for him to use such a terrifying attack. The existence of the chaos origin energy had never been discovered by Lu Xiaoyu. This did not make sense. In order to deal with the demon ancestor, he had prepared for many years. He knew almost everything about the demon clan like the back of his hand. Otherwise, it would not have been so easy for him to lead the experts of the 33 heavens and the 3,000 boundless worlds into the depths of the 18 levels of hell and kill countless experts of the demon clan. In the beginning, when he fought with the demon ancestor, things did not go out of control. Who would have thought that the demon ancestor's sudden attack would completely disrupt Lu Xiaoyou's plan? He really wanted to know where the demon ancestor's power came from. Through what had happened before, Lu Xiaoyu could tell that the power did not come from the demon ancestor himself. Such a situation made him extremely shocked. Lu Xiaoyu, you must be very curious now. But I don't want to talk more with you. If you want to fight, then bring it on. Otherwise, I don't have so much time to waste with you. The demon ancestor looked at Lu Xiaoyu with cold eyes and said aloud. His strength had not recovered to its peak state, and he had been interrupted by Lu Xiaoyu. He needed to continue healing in seclusion. Staring at the demon ancestor, Lu Xiaoyu did not answer this time. He just looked at him quietly, and no one knew what he was thinking. Just as the demon ancestor said, he really wanted to know the truth. Long before Du Xiaofu comprehended and broke through to the half-step Taoist realm, when he entered the 18th layer of hell to disturb the demon ancestor, he also found something wrong. Originally, in his plan, the demon ancestor's strength should not have recovered so quickly and become so powerful. But fortunately, he acted in time and successfully interrupted the demon ancestor's recovery. It was also because of this that he brought Du Xiaofu, Xiaolong Di Batian, Donghuang Taishen, Yanghua, and Lu Xintong together in this space. Their goal was to launch the final battle and kill the demon ancestor. But now, things had turned out the worst. Du Xiaofu was suddenly attacked by the demon ancestor, and it was unknown whether he was dead or alive. Without him, no one in this world could kill the demon ancestor. Now, there seemed to be no need to continue this battle. Lu Xiaoyu, you can't stop this demon ancestor's recovery, and you can't stop the rise of my demon race. This demon ancestor advises you to give up, lest this demon ancestor makes you die too miserably when this demon ancestor recovers. The demon ancestor's slender blood-red hair fluttered as he said coldly. His hideous and ugly face was filled with endless mockery and ridicule, as if he was mocking Lu Xiaoyu for overestimating his own strength. After saying this, the demon ancestor did not say anything more. His figure flashed and rushed into the chaotic light in the distance. That place was where he had been in seclusion before, and it was not damaged by the collapse of the entire space and was still intact. Boss. Seeing the demon ancestor retreat, Xiaolong looked at Lu Xiaoyu and wanted to say something. Now that they had forced the demon ancestor out of his seclusion and seriously injured him, if there was another Taoist realm expert here, they would definitely be able to suppress him or even seal him. But the fact was, in the entire 33 heavens and the 3,000 boundless worlds, Lu Xiaoyu was the only Taoist realm expert. Right now, Lu Xiaoyu was exhausted and could not attack anymore. Let him go. Lu Xiaoyu said softly, not looking at Xiaolong. Instead, he stared in the direction where the demon ancestor had left for a long time. Xiaoyu, how did this happen? What should we do next? Di Batian stepped forward and looked at his disciple, and could not help but ask anxiously. If the demon ancestor did not die, there would always be a knife hanging over the heads of the 33 heavens and the 3,000 boundless worlds. Du Xiaofu had been attacked by the demon ancestor, and no one knew what would happen in the end. Such a situation was worrying, and even an existence like Di Batian was at a loss. There's a huge change in the situation. The deepest part of the 18th layer of hell is probably hiding some unimaginable secrets. Lu Xiaoyu's gaze did not move, and he was still staring at the place where the demon ancestor had disappeared. He said in a deep voice, when he attacked Junior Brother, the power he used to block me might not be his own. His eyes were deep, and there was an unconcealable heaviness in them. Others might not know, but Lu Xiaoyu could clearly tell that the power that the demon ancestor could mobilize was limited. Otherwise, how could he be so confident that he would bring Du Xiaofu and the others here to decide the outcome of the battle and kill the demon ancestor? Through what had just happened, he also realized that there might be a deeper reason for the demon ancestor's rapid recovery of strength. Xiao you mean? Yanghua was stunned when he heard Lu Xiaoyu's words, and he could not help but ask. I can't say for sure now, but everything is normal. Only the demon ancestor's strength has recovered too quickly, and he can mobilize such a powerful force. This does not make sense. Lu Xiaoyu said. Then he slowly lowered his eyes, and with a hint of desolation, he said sadly, could it be that countless years of planning were all for nothing in the end? At this moment, his entire person was unconsciously filled with endless loneliness, and his dejection could not be concealed. After so many years of planning and putting in so much effort, he had even cultivated a heaven-defying person like Du Xiaofu. Originally, today was the day of the final harvest, and there was hope to kill the demon ancestor. However, the sudden change was quite a blow. At this moment, even Lu Xiaoyu, the master of the 3,000 sectors, found it difficult to calm down. Boss. Seeing Lu Xiaoyu's appearance, Xiaolong held his hand tightly and looked at him with burning eyes. He said seriously, it's not time for us to give up yet. Xiaofu is not dead. We still have hope. As he spoke, Xiaolong's eyes were filled with passion. He stared straight at his boss, and every word was sonorous and powerful. He knew that his boss must have understood something that was difficult to accept. Although he did not say it out loud, Xiaolong knew that something that could make his boss reveal such dejection was far beyond his imagination. However, because he did not know the truth, Xiaolong felt that he should encourage his boss and let him pull himself together. The demon ancestor was not dead. The 33 heavens and the 3,000 sectors were not at peace. How could he say that he was defeated? Buzz, buzz, buzz. As Xiaolong's words fell, the blood sword in Lu Xiaoyu's hand also vibrated as if it was speaking to him. The vibration was transmitted to his palm, causing Lu Xiaoyu to wake up. Yes, I'm not alive yet. As long as I'm alive, there is hope. Everything is not over yet. Lu Xiaoyu's eyes gradually brightened, and the feeling of dejection on his body was gradually swept away. Just as Xiaolong had said, the beings of the 33 heavens and the 3,000 sectors still needed him to lead them. As long as the demon ancestor was not dead, the world would not be at peace. At this time, he was the strongest among all the beings. He was like a pillar that supported the heavens. How could he fall? Thank you, Xiaolong. Lu Xiaoyu looked at Xiaolong and thanked him. After he recovered from his state of mind, he could not help but feel some lingering fear. If it were not for Xiaolong's timely reminder, even if he thought it through in the future, it would inevitably cause an indelible impact on his state of mind. Lu Xiaoyu weighed the blood sword in his hand and revealed a smile as if he was also thanking it. Then, he handed the blood sword to Xiaolong and said, "Save the other ancient powerhouses in the 18 levels of hell." At this time, the demon ancestor is also heavily injured and will not appear for a while. Junior brother's condition is not good at this time. I will take him first. After you settle the matters here, quickly return to the Fiend God battlefield. Then, use the blood sword to break through the array and return to the 33 heavens. Chapter 2968. All right. Xiaolong said to Lu Xiaoyu with a nod as he received the blood slaughter. Don't worry, Xiaoyu. Leave this to us. Di Bat Yin, Donghuang Taishen, Yanghua, and Lu Xintong also spoke to reassure Lu Xiaoyu. Under their gazes, Lu Xiaoyu gently stretched out his hand and summoned Du Xiaofu's light cocoon to his side. Junior brother, oh junior brother, you must hold on. If we want to kill the demon ancestor, we can only rely on you. Don't let my years of hard work go to waste. Lu Xiaoyu murmured softly. Then, in a flash, he disappeared with Du Xiaofu and left the place. Let's go too. I wonder how many ancient experts we can save in the remaining levels of hell. Xiaolong said as he watched Lu Xiaoyu leave with Du Xiaofu. Let's go. After that, the figures of the remaining people flashed out swiftly, and they vanished in the blink of an eye. All that was left was the whistling and dancing shattered energy that was still stirring slightly. The shattered space that had turned into chaos showed that this place had experienced an unimaginable great battle that had destroyed the original 17th and 18th layers of hell and wiped them off the face of the earth. Time passed slowly. In the blink of an eye, more than 100 years had passed. And in these past years, the life forms of every world in the 33 heavens were eagerly anticipating the triumphant return of the countless powerhouses that had entered the divinity demon war realm. Everyone placed their hopes on the Lord of the 3,000 universes, Lu Xiaoyu, and the supreme Changrong heavens Yuqing divine emperor, Du Xiaofu. They hoped that they could kill the demon ancestor and bring peace to all living beings. It was unknown how many creatures had gathered outside the Fiend God battle boundary, and all of them had high hopes for the battle. However, one day, a blade light broke the seal outside the divine demon battle boundary. When Xiaolong Di Bat Yin, Donghuang Taishen, Yanghua, and Lu Xintong appeared with many experts, many of the experts outside saw them. Their expressions were grave, and some even looked defeated. What's going on? Outside the battle of gods and devils, Yuqing divine nation Zi Hong divine general He Mengchang, Di Wu divine general Hui Yuankuan, Yunling divine general Duan Baichuan, and the others were all present. Yu Yuqian Du Xiaoba, Du Xiaohuang, Du Xiaolin, and Ouyang Shuang were also waiting quietly. When they saw the experts appear, all of them felt an incomparably strange atmosphere spreading out. Xiao Jing, little demon, little star, Qing Qing. Yang Shuang swept her gaze across the crowd and saw Du Xiaojing, Du Xiaoyao, Little Xingxing, and Dongli Qingqing. She immediately rushed over and asked, "Where's Xiaofu?" Looking at Du Xiaoyao's defeated expression, Du Xiaojing, Little Xingxing, and Dongli Qingqing's eyes also turned red. Yang Shuang's pretty face was expressionless. But in his heart, he had a bad premonition. Her intuition told her that this ominous feeling came from Du Xiaofu. Xiaolong Yanggua, Xen Tong, where is Xiaoyu? Where is Xiaofu? Yu Yuqian seemed to have realized something in an instant and couldn't help but ask. Countless experts from the 33 heavens and the 3,000 great thousand worlds had entered the divine demon battle realm. Moreover, Lu Xiaoyu had set up a terrifying seal that isolated them from the outside. Therefore, no one knew what was going on inside. It was just that when so many experts appeared, Lu Xiaoyu and Du Xiaofu were nowhere to be seen. This was the most illogical thing to happen. Yu Yuqian's old face began to tremble, and his lips unconsciously trembled. His pair of old eyes stared straight at Xiaolong and the others, afraid that he would hear some bad news from their mouths. "Boss is fine. It's just that Xiaofu Xiaolong lowered his head and said sadly, but he didn't finish his sentence. "What's wrong with Xiaofu?" Yu Yuqian immediately stepped forward and grabbed Xiaolong's arm. His eyes almost popped out of their sockets as he questioned loudly. "Xiaofu." When Yang Shuang heard Xiaolong's words, she felt as if she had been struck by lightning. Her delicate body swayed, and she almost fell down. However, Du Xiaoba supported her. "What's wrong with my father?" Du Xiaohuang and Du Xiaolin also quickly asked, wanting to hear Xiaolong's answer. Du Xiaofu was ambushed by the demon ancestor. The situation is not good. Xiaoyu has already taken him away. This matter is a little complicated. Let's talk about it as we go. Di Batian was, after all, an elder who had lived for countless years. He was much calmer when faced with such matters. Seeing everyone's worried expressions, he couldn't help but speak up. He didn't want everyone to be overly worried, so he avoided the important and dwelling on the trivial. He didn't directly explain Du Xiaofu's current situation. Sure enough, Yang Shuang's eyes lit up a little when she heard this. "Where did Xiaoyu take Xiaofu?" Yu Yuqian asked again. He was extremely worried. Xiaofu's injuries aren't light. There are 3 places that boss most likely took him to. The first is the 3,000 boundless worlds. The second is a world called Earth. The third is Shenwu World. But among these 3 places, the most likely is still Shenwu World. Xiaolong looked at Yu Yuqian and answered. He and Lu Xiaoyu were the closest of brothers. They understood each other very well. To save Du Xiaofu, the 3,000 boundless worlds was a good choice. Because that was where Lu Xiaoyu rose to prominence. He could mobilize a large amount of resources and manpower. Other than that, in the boundless universe, the only world with life was called Earth. It had an inseparable relationship with the great god Pangu. There might be some ultimate opportunity hidden there that could be the most effective way to dissolve the demon ancestor's chaos origin in Du Xiaofu's body. Moreover, Lu Xiaoyou's soul came from that place. As for the third possibility, it was Shenwu World. Shenwu World, also known as Daluo Heaven, was a world created by the ancient Daluo Heaven. Later on, it was controlled by Du Xiaofu. The laws and order of the world were all closely related to him. In that world, Du Xiaofu could be more in tune with nature, resonating with everything in that world. Most importantly, Du Xiaofu's injuries wouldn't be easy for others to save him. The only one he could rely on was himself. Because of this, Xiaolong felt that Shenwu World was the most likely choice for Du Xiaoyu. "Let's go to Shenwu World." Hearing Xiaolong's words, Yu Yuqian made a quick decision and rushed out. Behind him, Yang Shuang, Du Xiaoba, Du Xiaolin, Du Xiaohuang, Little Xingxing, Du Xiaoyao, Du Xiaojing, Dongli Qingqing and the others followed. They were still worried and wanted to go back to Shenwu World to check on the situation. "Let's leave a little later. We've rescued these experts from the 18 levels of hell, and we still have to help them. Only then will they be able to stabilize themselves." Xiaolong said to Di Batian, Dong Huang Taishen, Yanggua, and Lu Xingtou. Other than the 17th and 18th level of Hell, which were destroyed in the battle between Lu Xiaoyu and the demon ancestor, the rest of the 16 levels of Hell were broken through by them. Moreover, only 5 experts from the Ancient Era had been rescued from the Ancient Era. This number was heart-wrenching. The remaining 13 experts had used up everything they had to suppress the demon ancestor. In the end, they turned into dust and died. As for the remaining 5, they weren't in a good situation either. They were exhausted and needed the help of experts. Only then could they regain their power. Xiaolong's plan was to treat them. Once their condition stabilized, he would send them back to their respective inheritance lands in the 33 heavens so they could quietly recuperate. Xue Lu, stay here to seal the divine demon battlefield. Leave someone to guard it. If the demon ancestor makes any more moves, report it immediately. Xiaolong waved his arm and threw Xue Lu out. Blood gold light shot up into the sky and filled up the gap that was just created. Many experts agreed. Xiaolong, Di Batian, Donghuang Taishen Yonggua, and Lu Xintong rose into the air and disappeared into the distance. Outside the divine demon battlefield, many creatures stayed behind to guard it. However, based on the current situation, it would be difficult to start another battle. Naturally, many people left to recuperate and wait for the next call. The demon ancestor is not dead. The Yuqing Divine Emperor Du Xiaofu was severely injured by him. It's hard to say whether he's dead or alive. Not long after, this disappearance swept out like a storm, sweeping through every world in the 33 heavens and becoming known to all living beings. After many creatures returned from the divine demon battlefield, everyone gradually understood what had happened in the past few years. It's a pity that the master of the 3,000 great worlds, Lu Xiaoyu's plan for so many years, ended up with such a variable. How detestable! The demon race is an ancient divine demon. It's reasonable for them to have extraordinary means. It's just that there's no enchanting realm expert in the 33 heavens and the 3,000 great worlds who can stand up. It's said that the Yuqing Divine Emperor Du Xiaofu is the most important person to kill the demon ancestor. I don't know if he can survive this injury. I hope he can do it. That guy has created many miracles. I hope that after this, he'll bring another huge shock and surprise to the world. Countless experts of the demon race were killed, but the experts of the 33 heavens and the 3,000 great worlds didn't suffer too many losses. This is good news. That's right. This is indeed something that makes people feel gratified. In addition, there were 18 enlightened realm experts sealed in the 18 levels of Hell in the ancient times. Now, 5 of them are still alive and were rescued by the dragon god and the others. All kinds of discussions spread throughout the 33 heavens. All the living beings were shocked by the strength of the demon clan. The several changes in the situation in the 18 levels of Hell, to them, were filled with unimaginable danger. Fortunately, all the experts of the demon race were killed in the end. The Yuqing Divine Emperor Du Xiaofu alone killed 9 demon generals, 2 demon servants, and the blood ancestor. Such a terrifying achievement was unparalleled. While everyone was marveling at him, there were also many sighing sounds. That aloof and domineering young man was killed by the demon ancestor's surprise attack. It was hard to say whether he was dead or alive. The power that the demon ancestor had displayed had far exceeded the expectations of Lu Xiaoyu, the master of the 3,000 sectors. Many people could also see that there was a huge secret hidden within. They were afraid that the demon race would have a chance to make a comeback. The demon ancestor didn't die, and the only person who could kill him was severely injured. This was terrible news. The living beings of the 33 heavens felt heavy. Following the end of the long war, not only did it not weaken, it became even stronger. Everyone was hoping that the Yuqing Divine Emperor Du Xiaofu would wake up and fight alongside Lu Xiaofu to kill the demon ancestor. Apart from all the bad news, the fact that the 5 ancient powerhouses had been rescued was the most joyous news of all. However, most of the living beings didn't know which 5 powers they came from. The Yuqing Divine Emperor Du Xiaofu came from the Shenwu world. That is a very special place. It should have been on the same level as the Pangu world, the demon race world, and the 3,000 great worlds. However, because of the ancient demon race's war, the creator of that world, De Luo Tianzuan, was disturbed. News about the Shenwu world spread throughout the 33 heavens. There wasn't a single person who wasn't astonished by the uniqueness of that realm, sighing in amazement. If it wasn't for the ancient demon war, the Shenwu world, or the Daluo heaven, would be so powerful. The Yu Qing Divine Emperor, the Rock Emperor of the Shenwu world, Du Xiaofu are such heroes. They fought bravely for the living beings of the 33 heavens and made great contributions. No matter what the reason is, we should pay them a visit. Some of the older generation experts spoke out and made such a decision. Of course, this decision received the approval of countless people. And there were too many people who had the same idea. Take out the myriad world spirit route. I want to visit the Yu Qing Divine Emperor in the Shenwu world. The Yellow Springs blood bamboo has grown in my sect for many years. It's time to cut it down. The Chaos Palace is my most treasured item. Over the countless years, I've obtained countless benefits from it. However, I still can't fully comprehend its mysteries. Why don't we bring it to the Daluo heaven? It might be able to help the Rock Emperor. Soon, the living beings of the 33 heavens started to move again. Especially the powerful forces and races, many experts walked out. Everyone had the same goal. That was to go to the Shenwu world. Thousands of years ago, when the Shenwu world was exposed to the 33 heavens for the first time, it caused a huge commotion. At that time, many forces went with the intention of obtaining benefits. However, under the suppression of the Tianwu Academy's dean, the Holy Emperor, they didn't cause too much of a commotion. However, it was completely different this time. Countless people were filled with anticipation. In addition, some of them had the intention of going on a pilgrimage. They brought countless heavenly treasures with them. As the junior brother of the Yu Qing Divine Emperor, the Rock Emperor of the Daluo Heaven, and the master of the 3,000 great worlds, Lu Xiaoyu, he naturally wouldn't be interested in ordinary treasures. Moreover, he was currently in a bad situation. Countless forces in the 33 heavens wanted to do their best to help him recover. Thus, none of the treasures they brought were ordinary. They were all unique existences. Their thoughts were simple. Even if they could help Du Xiaofu in the slightest, it would be a great comfort to them. The demon ancestor wasn't dead. To the 33 heavens and the 3,000 great worlds, it was like a blade hanging over their heads. They didn't know when it would fall. As long as Du Xiaofu could survive, he would become a sharp blade hanging over the demon ancestor's head. He would be the greatest threat to the demon ancestor. In other words, the final hope of the living beings of the 33 heavens was still placed on Du Xiaofu. How could they feel the slightest bit of heartache over the consumption of some treasures? Huff, huff, huff. In the 33 heavens, many of the living beings of the major forces were on the move. Numerous figures rushed out of the world, heading straight for the Daluo heaven. Other than that, many powerhouses that came out of Shenwu world, such as Fu Yibai and the crazy Ol, were also heading there. The ancient emperor of the human clan, the ancient ancestor of the Baifeng divine bird clan, Dai Xingyu, Qing Wan, Shao Qing, Beigong Yingrua, Beigong Ningxuang, Beigong Tianhuan, Beigong Zhangqing, and many other powerhouses from the 3,000 great worlds were also heading towards the Daluo heaven. In the endless cracks between the worlds, the vast crowd moved quickly. Like a swarm of bees returning to their nest, they rushed towards the direction of the Shenwu world. These people's speed was pushed to the extreme. Many of them were led by powerhouses at the level of ancestors Wang. It didn't take long for them to arrive at the Shenwu world. Boom, 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 numerous figures pierced through the void. Vast and majestic auras spread out, causing the entire Shenwu world to shake. This was the result of them deliberately suppressing their auras. Or else, with so many powerhouses' auras intertwined together, it would create a tsunami that would shatter the earth, shatter the sky, and destroy the mountains and rivers. Shenwu world. Daluo heaven. It was the first time for most people to come to this place. The moment they arrived, they could feel the boundless spiritual energy and the vast and complex laws. This world, in terms of prosperity, had far surpassed any of the 33 heavens worlds. The one who brought about this change was the Rock Emperor, Du Xiaofu. Du Xiaofu is the barren country's Rock Emperor. Once we find the barren country, we should be able to see him. Some powerhouses used their primordial spirits to investigate. It didn't take long for them to find the barren country's location. Next, a large group of figures moved again. They all rushed towards the barren country. However, at the same time, everyone hid their auras. They didn't make a big deal out of it. Instead, they all suppressed their auras and tried to be as low-key as possible. Du Xiaofu had been brought here by Lu Xiaoyu, the lord of the 3,000 sectors. In his current state, no one dared to be too ostentatious. If they disturbed him and caused a bad result, they would become the common enemy of all living beings. Chapter 2969. The current Daluo heaven, also known as Shenwu world, was no longer what it used to be. In terms of scale, this world had undergone terrifying growth in these past years. From the size of a small world, it had grown to be larger than any world in the 33 heavens. After all, this world was a complete world created by Daluo Tianzuan. It was originally an existence comparable to Pangu world. However, when this world was in its embryonic state, the process was interrupted by demon ancestor Luoho. In the end, most of its power was used by Daluo Tianzuan to suppress demon ancestor Luoho's body. But now, as Du Xiaofu grasped the heavenly Tao, he was closely connected to the invisible laws of this world. Every step he took brought about rapid changes to this world. It was almost as if this world had returned to its embryonic state back then. In the early years, Shenwu world had not changed for long. Everywhere was a desolate and empty state. Everywhere was a wilderness. As the world grew larger, the densely packed living beings gained more space to move around. However, at this time, countless new living beings were born in Shenwu world. They were scattered all over the world, and the number was astonishing. The previous living beings grew stronger and stronger. Under the nourishment of the rich spiritual energy, countless terrifying existences were born. The immortal realm, to the living beings of Shenwu world, was no longer an unattainable realm. However, the higher realm of meditate and oblivion was still elusive and hard to reach. The desolate country. The concept of territory had lost its meaning to the desolate country. As long as the Rock Emperor Du Xiaofu existed, the desolate country would be the unshakable strongest power in Shenwu world. It was an existence that countless living beings yearned for. Many years ago, in the war against the devil religion, Du Xiaofu led everyone in this world into the most intense battle. That purple-robed youth, in the hearts of all living beings, had a godlike status. If anyone wanted to overthrow the barren country's position, not only would the Du family not agree to it, they would even implicate all the living beings in this world in a crusade. After all, in this world, many living beings were willing to consider themselves as citizens of the barren country. As for the great factions and inheritances, they were also willing to coexist with the desolate nation in the most amicable manner. After all, they had gone through the slaughter of the devil religion together. It was a deep friendship that had been forged through blood. Unless the experts of the older generation were all dead, the desolate country's supreme position in this world was unshakable. For thousands of years, nearly all the powerhouses of the previous generation had been diligently cultivating. They would go into seclusion year after year, all for the sake of increasing their strength as quickly as possible so that they could enter the 33 heavens as soon as possible and join up with Du Xiaofu and the others to help them slaughter their way into the 18 levels of hell. However, as the entire army of the 33 heavens gathered and entered the divinity demon war boundary, as well as Lu Xiaoyou's terrifying battle array, their hopes were finally dispelled. Many people felt that it was a pity that they could not fight side by side with Du Xiaofu and the other living beings to deal with the devil race. It was just like how they had fought against the devil religion all those years ago. But in the end, what was done could not be undone. While many powerhouses sighed, they could only silently pray that the Rock Emperor would return in triumph and reunite with them. However, just when everyone thought that everything had calmed down and that they were only waiting for Du Xiaofu to return, A major event occurred in the barren country that shocked everyone. Outside the Du family ancestral hall, Du Tingxian, Du Shaoqing, Zhen Qingchun, Jialo Juiyu, Du Yunlong, Old Lei, and almost all the other powerhouses had gathered here. All of them looked deeply at the tightly shut doors of the ancestral hall. Just what is going on? Why would such a strange situation occur in my Du family ancestral hall? Du Yunlong had a grave expression as he muttered to himself. The other people around him had similar expressions, as if they were facing something strange. That's right. Something extremely strange had happened in the barren country today. To the Du family, the ancestral hall was a sacred place. The stone coffin left behind by their ancestors was stored inside. It was extremely mystical. Because of this, the Du family would enter every day to clean up and place offerings and incense sticks. However, early this morning, a descendant of the Du family discovered that the doors of the ancestral hall could not be opened no matter what. What was even stranger was that nothing inside could be seen. It was as if there was a terrifying force that blocked everything. Such a strange situation quickly alarmed the upper echelons of the barren country, which included Du Tingxian, Du Yunlong, and the others. That stone coffin is extremely mystical. Could this situation be caused by it? Zhen Qingchun raised his eyebrows and said, he could only make such a conjecture. Everything in the Du family ancestral hall was ordinary except for the stone coffin, which was left behind by the Du family ancestor. In the past, Du Xiaofu fought a bloody battle with the demon ancestor and only his head was left. It was because Du Tingxian stored it in the stone coffin that he was revived. Even many immortal realm experts were helpless in the current situation. They could not see the reason behind it. Everything could only be attributed to the stone coffin. However, thinking about it carefully, it did not make sense. The Du family ancestor, who had a heavenly body, could only be considered as a divine seizing realm cultivator. Compared to the current Du Tingxian, Du Yunlong, Yi Piaoling, and the others, he was far inferior. How could he leave behind such a mystical item? Most importantly, what had happened today was beyond their imagination. Could it be related to Xiaofu? In the crowd, Yi Wuming stroked his beard and said, when everyone heard this, they felt that this was the only reasonable conjecture. Du Xiaofu was the strongest expert in this world. Even the rules of heaven and earth and the order of the Great Path were under his control. It was not impossible for him to affect the changes in the ancestral hall. I just feel that all of this is unusual. Du Tingxian frowned and said softly, send people to guard the ancestral hall. Pay attention to all changes at all times. If there are any abnormalities, we can find out immediately. All of these changes did not cause any special consequences. As for the seal outside the ancestral hall, no one could do anything about it. They could only make such a decision for the time being. The changes in the Du family ancestral hall did not cause too much of a stir. However, it still made all the higher-ups of the desolate country cautious. The sudden appearance of the strange sealing power meant that something was amiss. Fortunately, things did not continue to develop and there were no disasters. As time passed, things slowly calmed down. A few days passed slowly. On this day, the sky was clear and the sun was bright. Heaven and earth were harmonious. But suddenly, something completely new happened. Following the arrival of a powerful aura, it spread through the void of Shenwu world. It caused a large ripple, causing Du Tingxian, Zhen Qingchun, Du Shaoqing, Little Tiger, Yi Piaoling, Changguyu, Jialo Juiyu, and the others to be shocked. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Following that, many figures rushed out from the desolate country palace. They flew into the air and gathered together to look into the distance. Buzz buzz buzz, everyone reacted quickly, but just as they moved, even more powerful auras appeared, as if they had appeared out of thin air. It was not difficult for Du Tingxian and the others to feel that although these auras were deliberately suppressed, they still emitted powerful ripples. It was as if they did not plan to completely hide their tracks. They just wanted to let them know. Who came to Shenwu world? Within the crowd, Zhen Qingchuan's brows knit together as he asked with a puzzled expression. Shenwu world had been peaceful for many years, and in recent years, there hadn't been any overly powerful beings that had come here. At most, there were a few people with average cultivation who would bring information about the 33 heavens and the demon race here. Today's change was unusual. The number of people who came was especially large. With their cultivation, they could see the densely packed figures coming from afar. These people don't seem to have any hostility. Could they be powerhouses from the 33 heavens? Yi Piaoling stood up and said calmly. There was no change in his expression. Just like he said, the combatants who came to Shenwu World didn't show any hostility, they only purposely created some commotion to let them know about their presence. Thinking about this, they felt that things were a bit strange. Logically speaking, the powerhouses of the 33 heavens should be under the lead of Lu Xiaoyu and Xiaofu to fight against the demon race. They shouldn't have come to Shenwu World in such a large scale. Could it be, brother and the others have returned victorious? Du Xiaoqing's eyes lit up. She was almost excited by her own idea. This wasn't impossible. Perhaps the demon race had already been completely wiped out, and the demon ancestor had been killed, so Du Xiaofu, as a hero, had brought countless powerhouses with him to Shenwu World, which made sense. Just as Du Xiaoqing finished speaking, an old voice came from the void. That's right. The people who came are powerhouses from the 33 heavens. There are also people from the 3,000 heavens. However, Xiaofu is not among them. Before he finished speaking, under the gaze of Du Tingxian, Zhen Qingchun and the others, a tall old man appeared from the void and stood in midair. This old man's figure was majestic and tall. He carried with him an aura that could support the heavens. His eyes were as bright as the sun. His silver hair fluttered without any wind. He carried with him an ancient aura, but no matter what, it could not hide his natural fierceness and dominance. Senior Absolute Saint. Principal. Seeing this old man appear, many powerhouses bowed respectfully, not daring to be negligent. This old man could only be the principal of Tianwu Academy, the Absolute Saint Emperor, who was at the 3rd level of meditative realm. Does the principal know why these people are here? Du Tingxian was puzzled and asked the Absolute Saint Emperor. There's no need to rush. They will be here soon. There are many familiar faces among them. There are also powerhouses who came from this world. It won't be too late to ask them when they arrive. The Absolute Saint Emperor realized that these powerhouses were heading straight for the desolate country. However, as if he had sensed something, a grave expression appeared on the dean's aged face. Looking at his expression, Du Tingxian and the others instinctively felt that something was amiss. However, they did not ask. Everything would be revealed when the powerhouses from the 33 heavens arrived at the desolate country. Swish, swish, swish. Not long after, a large group of figures came from afar and quickly appeared in front of everyone. Seeing these people, Du Yunlong, Du Xiaoqing, Little Tiger, Zhen Qingchun, and the others all stepped forward. Little Ba, Little Lin, Little Huang, Little Jing, Little Yao, Little Xingxing. There were a few familiar faces among the newcomers. They were Ouyang Shuang, Dongli Qingqing, and the others who had rushed back from outside the battle of gods and demons. Other than them, Yu Yuqian, Lu Jingyun, Lu Yushao, Long Ke, Long Su, and many other powerhouses from the 3,000 great worlds were also with them. As soon as these people arrived, they instantly gathered with the desolate country's powerhouses. Where is my disciple Xiaofu? Yu Yuqian's old face was already showing signs of fatigue due to his anxiety. When he arrived at the desolate country's palace, he immediately raised his voice and asked. Du Xiaofu was created by the demon ancestor. Now, it was unknown whether he was alive or dead, and his condition was unknown. This made Yu Yuqian extremely anxious. He was eager to know how Du Xiaofu was doing at this time, so he blurted out the question. Xiaofu? Du Tingxian, Zhen Qingchun, Yi Wuming, Murong Yurhua, and the others were all stunned. They did not know this old man in front of them. It was very strange that he asked about Du Xiaofu's whereabouts as soon as he arrived. What was even more strange was that Du Xiaofu was clearly not with the powerhouses from the 33 heavens and had entered the 18 levels of hell to fight. Why would someone come to the desolate country to look for his whereabouts? What's going on? At this time, the Holy Great Emperor stood up and asked Yu Yuqian, Lu Jingyun, and the others. As one of Lu Xiaoyou's masters, he naturally knew these powerhouses from the 3,000 boundless worlds. He was very familiar with them and had a deep relationship with them. After a brief introduction, everyone knew each other's identities and no longer stared at each other like before. Grandmaster, did Martial Uncle do not return to Shenwu World? After the Holy Great Emperor explained the situation, Lu Jingyun frowned and asked in confusion. In his uncle Xiaolong's estimation, it was most likely that his father had brought Du Xiaofu back to Shenwu World, but why was it that after arriving here, all the experts present were bewildered? Isn't Xiaofu in the 33 heavens? Du Tingxian, Du Xiaoqing, Little Tiger, and the others looked at each other in confusion. Brother was created by the demon ancestor. Due to the critical situation, he was taken away by the master of the 3,000 boundless worlds. We speculate that he is most likely to return to Shenwu World. At this time, Du Xiaoqing stood up and told Du Yunlong, Zhen Qingchun, and the others about Du Xiaofu's situation. Following her narration, many of the desolate country's experts became impatient. Xiaofu was created by the demon ancestor. His life and death are unknown. Some people muttered as if they had heard the most terrifying news. It was as if they had been struck by lightning and could not stand still. It turned out that the battle between the 33 heavens and the 3,000 boundless worlds and the demon race had reached the final stage. It turned out that Du Xiaofu, under Lu Xiaoyou's lead, was already facing the demon ancestor. But just as things were about to end perfectly, there was an unexpected turn of events. The 33 heavens and the 3,000 boundless worlds were still in danger, but Du Xiaofu was in a terrible situation. How could this be? Du Xiaoman had unknowingly started to cry as she stood there in shock. Beside her, Yi Zijin, Murong Yurhua, and the others were the same. To them, this was a heavy blow that was hard to accept. More importantly, Du Xiaofu was nowhere to be found. No one knew his exact situation. This was the most worrisome thing. If Xiaoyu did not come to Shenwu World, then did he return to the 3,000 boundless worlds? Yu Yuqian's old face was trembling from anxiety. He muttered, "No, I have to go back to the 3,000 boundless worlds to take a look." Then, he turned around and wanted to rush into the sky and leave Shenwu World to return to the 3,000 boundless worlds. If Du Xiaofu was not in Shenwu World, then he could be in the 3,000 boundless worlds. If he was not there, then he could be in the world called Earth. Yu Yuqian decided that no matter what, he had to find Lu Xiaoyu and Du Xiaofu. He was really worried about them. Even if he could not do anything or help with anything, it would be good to go and take a look. "Grandmaster, don't worry." Lu Jingyun grabbed Yu Yuqian, who was about to leave, and said, "I seem to have found a trick left behind by father. He's here. He brought Master Du back to the Huang country." These words stunned the surrounding experts as they pricked up their ears one by one. Everyone looked at Lu Jingyun, wanting to know where Du Xiaofu and Lu Xiaoyu were. Could it be? Not long after Lu Jingyun finished speaking, Jialo Jueyu's eyes lit up. He looked down at the void and looked at the Du family. Following his gaze, everyone looked over as well. As far as their eyes could see, there was an extremely ancient building. The Du family ancestral hall. Du Tingxian and the others could not help but exclaim as they looked at each other. "That's right, it's there. I can vaguely feel father's aura. He must have set up a trick there. Master Du must be inside. It's just that my strength is not enough and I can't see the situation inside. I don't know Master Du's current situation," Lu Jingyun said, confirming everyone's guess. Among everyone present, his cultivation was the highest and he was Lu Xiaoyou's father. It was easier for him to sense his aura and energy fluctuations. Lu Jingyun was sure that his father and Master Du were both inside the Du family ancestral hall. No wonder it's like this. Everyone in the Huang country also reacted at this time. A few days ago, the changes in the Du family ancestral hall had attracted their attention. Unfortunately, their strength was not enough and they could not see the reason. Fortunately, the strange situation did not cause any trouble, so no one tried to investigate by force. Until today, when many experts from the 33 heavens came to Shenwu world, they realized that all this might be because of the master of the 3,000 boundless worlds, Lu Xiaoyu. Chapter 2970. The Lord of the 3,000 sectors brought Xiaofu back to the desolate country and entered the Du family's ancestral hall. At this moment, everyone understood that this might be the case. This was also the most logical deduction. No wonder the seal was so powerful that many immortal realm experts could not do anything about it. It turned out that it came from the Lord of the 3,000 sectors, Lu Xiaoyu. It must be because of the urgency of the matter that my father did not have time to explain the situation to everyone. Let's wait outside, Lu Jingyun said to the people around him. Then, everyone nodded and descended, entering the desolate country's imperial palace. For many experts in the desolate country, it was difficult for them to be in a good mood at this moment. As the news continued to spread, it first caused a terrifying sensation, and then it made all the living beings in this world deeply worried. Their rock emperor, Du Xiaofu, had been severely injured in the battle with the demon ancestor. Even the Lord of the 3,000 sectors might not be able to save him. This situation was really bad news, and everyone found it hard to accept this fact. I believe that the Rock Emperor will definitely wake up again. Back then, he had died in the battle with the demon ancestor, but in the end, he stood before the world again. However, just as everyone was worrying, such a voice suddenly spread. Such a statement was like a reassuring pill, and it made countless living beings energized. Their hearts were filled with endless hope. That's right. That is the desolate country's Rock Emperor. He is the Rock Emperor of all living beings in this world. He will never fall. Even if he really falls, I believe that he has the ability to be reborn on the spot. Then, such a statement was heard again. It was powerful and resonant. Such words aroused the most fervent hope in all the living beings' hearts. Yes, who was the purple-robed young man? That was their Rock Emperor, the supreme existence in the hearts of all living beings in this world. This supremacy did not simply come from his powerful cultivation. Instead, it came from the impression he had planted in the hearts of countless living beings. More importantly, it came from everyone's will. Du Xiaofu had created too many miracles and shocked the world again and again. At this very moment, they believed that the violet-robed young man would be able to accomplish it once more. Once he awoke, not only would he be a supreme existence in this world, but he would also be a peak existence in the 33 heavens and the 3,000 boundless worlds. As living beings of Shenwu world, we cannot do anything for the Rock Emperor, but we can pray for him and hope that he will be able to resolve this calamity as soon as possible. The fiend ancestor isn't dead yet. In the future war, he might need our help. At this time, we should cultivate with all our strength and wait for the Rock Emperor to return. This time, I will fight alongside the Rock Emperor. The previous clash with the demons was because our Shenwu world was too weak, unable to help the great Rock Emperor and the 3,000 boundless worlds. But we still have time. If we miss this opportunity, I will regret it for the rest of my life. In the end, quite a number of creatures were filled with rage. Everyone agreed that the Rock Emperor, Du Xiaofu, would not die completely. One day, he would appear in front of the world as an absolute powerhouse and lead all the powerhouses to declare war on the demon race. Previously, under the arrangements of the 3,000 boundless worlds ruler, Lu Xiaoyu, countless powerhouses from the 33 heavens and the 3,000 boundless worlds fought their way into the 18 layers of hell. However, the living beings of Shenwu world were sadly absent. All of this was because their cultivations were too weak and they did not have enough time to grow. But now, it was different. The fiend ancestor was not dead and the Rock Emperor's situation was unknown. They had a new opportunity. Many living beings made up their minds to train hard and increase their strength. When the Rock Emperor returns, they will once again follow behind him and attack the 33 heavens. They will march towards the demon race and start a bloody war, just like how they fought against the devil religion all those years ago. They will contribute their own strength. With these thoughts, Shenwu world, after the initial shock and uneasiness, once again returned to peace. No one was overly worried because they all believed that the Rock Emperor, Du Xiaofu, would one day return to the world and shock the world. However, this situation, to the people of the Huang country, was a bit too extravagant. Even though they had high hopes, they knew the severity of the situation. The fiend ancestor made his move. He shot out a ball of chaos origin and directly attacked Du Xiaofu's body, causing unimaginable damage to him. Otherwise, with the strength of the 3,000 boundless worlds ruler, Lu Xiao, he wouldn't have disappeared for so long. When he came to Xinwu world and entered the Du family's ancestral hall, he didn't even have time to say hello. It was obvious how bad the situation was. Martial ancestor, don't worry. Let's wait for father to come out first. Lu Yuxiao looked at Yu Yuqian, who was pacing back and forth outside the Du family's ancestral hall, and comforted him. That's right, martial ancestor. If father still hasn't come out, it means that martial Uncle Du's situation is not that bad. You should rest first. Lu Xiang also spoke up, not wanting to see his martial ancestor so worried. At this moment, Yu Yuqian seemed to have suddenly aged a few thousand years. His entire spirit was somewhat tired, but he could not hide his anxiety. Hearing Lu Yuxiao and Lu Xiang speak to him, the old man squeezed out a stiff smile at his two grand disciples as a response, and then continued pacing back and forth. Du Tingxian, Zhen Qingchun, Jialo Jueyu, Du Yunlong, Yi Piaoling, and the other powerhouses all had worried expressions on their faces. The pressure in their hearts was no less than Yu Yuqian's, but they all suppressed it. Everyone was concerned about Du Xiaofu's current state. They only wanted Lu Xiaoyu to come out of the ancestral hall as soon as possible and inform them of the situation. Waiting like this was indeed a great torture. The demon ancestor's strength was no longer the same as before. After many years of recovery, he could fight with Lu Xiaoyu like crazy and not be at a disadvantage at all. At the last moment, he even used a mysterious power to attack Lu Xiaoyu and then attacked Du Xiaofu, which was why he was injured. It was conceivable that in this world, other than Lu Xiaoyu, there was no one who could survive the demon ancestor's full-strength attack. If Lu Xiaoyu didn't act in time and didn't care about his own injuries, Du Xiaofu would definitely be dead. Sigh. After a long time, Yu Yuqian let out a sigh, found a step in front of the ancestral hall, and sat down. In the early years, no one would have expected the situation to be like this. The battle with the demons had always been under Lu Xiaoyu's arrangement, and they had already reached the last step, facing the demon ancestor. Who would have thought that at the last moment, Du Xiaofu would be injured, and it was difficult to know whether he was dead or alive. As Yu Yuqian quieted down, no one spoke for a long time. Most people stood quietly in front of the Du family's ancestral hall, quietly waiting. Many people were as anxious as ants on a hot pan, but they still tried their best to remain calm. They didn't want to bring more negative emotions to others because of themselves. Under such circumstances, a few days passed. Finally, on this day, there was a sudden movement in the Du family's ancestral hall. Then, everyone saw that before the door opened, a figure appeared out of thin air and stood in front of them. Father, Xiao. Seeing this figure appear, everyone swarmed forward and surrounded him in the center, looking at him fervently. That's right, the figure that appeared was Lu Xiaoyu. However, he was not in a good state at this time, and there was no spirit on his face, as if he had suffered a very serious consumption. The green clothes on Lu Xiaoyu's body were also wrinkled, showing off his exhausted state. He was expressionless as his gaze swept across the crowd, and said, "Everyone is here. Xiaoyu, are you okay? How's your junior brother, Xiaofu?" Yu Yuqian's eyes lit up at the first moment, and he immediately rushed to Lu Xiaoyu's side in a few big steps, asking two questions in succession. Lu Xiaoyu's condition was not very good at this time, which made Yu Yuqian's heart ache. However, his concern for Du Xiaofu's life and death also made him urgently want to know the result. Not only Yu Yuqian, but all the powerhouses were looking at Lu Xiaoyu with burning eyes, their eyes full of anticipation. Facing the fervent gazes, Lu Xiaoyu's mouth twitched as if he wanted to give a smile, but under the endless exhaustion, he finally restrained himself and said softly, Junior brother's situation is still unclear. I tried my best to save his life for the time being, but if he wants to recover, he has to rely on himself. Lu Xiaoyu exhaled, then continued, but the Du family sarcophagus is an extraordinary item. Perhaps it can bring unimaginable help to my junior brother, which is why I came directly to Shenwu World. I was in a hurry before, so I didn't inform everyone from the Huang country. As he spoke, everyone at the scene perked up their ears and listened carefully. Lu Xiaoyu's words calmed everyone down a little, and they were no longer as anxious as before. However, at the same time, they understood that Lu Xiaoyu had done his best and was about to use up all of his energy to temporarily save Du Xiaofu's life. To truly dissolve the demon ancestor's chaotic energy and recover his life, it all depended on Du Xiaofu's willpower. Xiao, tell me the truth. What are the chances of Du Xiaofu waking up? Out of everyone, the most anxious person was, without a doubt, Yu Yuqin. He looked at his disciple in front of him and did not hide the worry in his heart. However, his question caused Lu Xiaoyu to reveal a bitter smile. Master, it had been many years since Lu Xiaoyu felt so helpless. However, under Yu Yuqin's bright eyes, he spoke the truth. If there are no other accidents, my junior brother's hope of waking up. He suddenly paused and after a while, he continued, I'm afraid it's very slim. As soon as he said that, there was a dead silence. Everyone had just let go of some of their worries, but at this time, they were once again in their throats. Under normal circumstances, the chances of Du Xiaofu waking up again were very slim. These words came from the mouth of the master of the 3,000 great worlds. As the strongest existence in the world, his words naturally represented the highest authority, and it was enough to convince everyone. Therefore, in an instant, Du Tingxian, Du Yunlong, Zhen Qingchun, Du Xiaoyao, Little Xingxing, and the rest of the people from the desolate nation felt their hearts grow heavier. As for Du Xiaojing, Du Xiaoqing, Yi Zijin, Du Xiaoman, Dongli Qingqing, and the other ladies, their eyes turned red. Yu Yuqian's old face became even more solemn, as if he had suffered the heaviest blow. His face was very ugly. Everyone, don't be anxious. I'm only talking about normal circumstances. Seeing everyone's expressions, Lu Xiaoyu immediately added, the Du family sarcophagus is not normal. It has many more secrets, and even I can't completely see through it. Everyone, there's no need to worry too much for now. Let's just wait quietly. I believe that a miracle will happen. In the following time, I will stay in Shenwu World and keep an eye on Junior Brother's movements until he truly wakes up. Lu Xiaoyu said solemnly to all the powerhouses present. In reality, it wasn't hard for them to hear that Lu Xiaoyu was comforting them. Maybe the truth was as he said, that the Du family sarcophagus was an extremely mystical item. But for Du Xiaofu to completely recover with its help, it would be an extremely difficult task. However, since Lu Xiaoyu said so, everyone naturally had a little more confidence. A Dao Carrier Realm powerhouse staying in Shenwu World to keep an eye on Du Xiaofu's situation was also a bit more reassuring. Everyone, let's leave this place first. I'll send someone to guard this place. Du Tingxian said at this time to the powerhouses from the 3,000 great worlds. After saying that, he ordered people to make some arrangements in the desolate country's imperial palace to arrange a place for these powerhouses to stay. After all, they were guests from the outside world, and they had a faint relationship with Shenwu World. Naturally, they had to be treated well. But because of Du Xiaofu's matter, Du Tingxian didn't have the time to make arrangements. Everything has been arranged. Everyone, please go. In fact, a few days ago, Yi Wuming, Murong Yorua, and the others had already made arrangements for this, so they immediately signaled for Lu Xiaoyu, Lu Jingyun, Yu Yuqian, and the others to go. Let's go. Outside the Du family's ancestral hall, many powerhouses slowly left. Only Zhen Qingchun, Du Xiaoyao, and Little Xingxing stayed behind to guard this place. Time passed slowly. The people of the desolate country had pinned their hopes on the Du family's sarcophagus. Lu Xiaoyu had said that the sarcophagus was a very terrifying object. Even he couldn't see through all the subtleties within it. This puzzled Du Tingxian, Du Yunlong, and the others. They knew that the stone coffin was indeed extraordinary. It was something left behind by the ancestor of the Du family, who possessed the body of the heavenly Tao. Moreover, it had saved Du Xiaofu's life when he had died the last time. But this was what everyone couldn't understand the most. When the Du family's ancestor was at his strongest, he was only equivalent to the current divine seizing realm. Not to mention Lu Xiaoyu, who was in the carrier realm, he was far inferior to the current Du Tingxian, Du Yunlong, and the others. With such strength, the relic left behind was so extraordinary that it could make the Lord of the 3,000 great worlds feel that it was unfathomable. It was hard to believe. Could it be that the body of the heavenly way of the Du family's ancestor had fused with the power of the laws of this world to create such an extraordinary object? No matter how they thought about it, this was probably the only reason that made sense. The Du family wanted to ask Lu Xiaoyu about it in person. However, he had exhausted too much energy to save Du Xiaofu. After leaving the Du family's ancestral hall, he immediately went into secluded meditation to recover. Everything slowly calmed down. Although everyone was full of worry for Du Xiaofu, they did not show it too obviously during these days. They were just anxious in their hearts. One day, not long after, Shenwu world was once again bustling with activity. So many strong cultivators from the 33 heavens have come to Shenwu world. So many great forces and great inheritances have come. Yes, many strong cultivators from the 33 heavens had come to Shenwu world, to the desolate country. They had come to check on Yu Qing Divine Emperor Du Xiaofu's situation. If there were so many strong cultivators, the impact on the people of Shenwu world would be too great. They had never seen hundreds of meditative realm cultivators and hundreds of thousands of immortal realm cultivators. Everyone was shocked as they arranged for these people to stay in the Stone City. However, what was even more shocking was that the experts who had rushed over had all brought along numerous precious medicines. The Supreme Changrong Heavenly Yuqing Divine Kingdom's Divine Emperor, Daluo Heaven's Great Rock Emperor Du Xiaofu, was the one who led the experts of the 33 heavens on a campaign against the devil race, establishing illustrious military exploits. We have given him some of our treasures. Hopefully, they will be of some use to him. An old man in the meditative realm handed over a treasure box to Du Tingxian and sighed. He was the ancestor of the Supreme Changrong Heaven's strongest force, the Huanchu Holy Ground. Behind him was Su Mo Yen. This, Du Tingxian took the box. After inspecting it, he was shocked. He was unable to see through the exact grade of the item within the treasure box, but with his cultivation he was able to discover that it was a terrifying and monstrous item. Instantly he refused. This is too precious. We can't accept it. With Lu Jingyun and the others' advice, Du Tingxian finally understood how precious the treasures in the box were. They were rare treasures that couldn't be found in the entire 33 heavens. He couldn't accept such a precious treasure. Yu Qing Divine Emperor's father, you should accept it. Don't decline. At this time, the ancestor from the true Yen Holy Ground spoke. The demon ancestor is not dead yet. All the living beings of the 33 heavens are still waiting for the Yu Qing Divine Emperor to return and kill him. Even if these treasures can only be of a little use to the Yu Qing Divine Emperor, it is worth it. Chapter 2971. The forgotten ancestor of the true Yen Holy Land was an ordinary-looking old man. He looked at Du Tingxian with sincerity as he spoke. The experts beside him nodded in agreement with his words. Take it. Although these things are treasures, they are insignificant compared to the life of the Yu Qing Divine Emperor. We just want to do what we can to help him. I don't expect these treasures to be of great use, but even if they can help the Yu Qing Godly Emperor a little, I'm willing to sacrifice everything in the 33 heavens for them. That's right. Everyone in the 33 heavens hopes that the Rock Emperor of the Daluotian can wake up and kill the Demon Lord. Countless lives have placed their hopes on him. Plus, these things can only be used as icing on the cake. They can't be used to help him in his hour of need. What a pity! One by one, the expert spoke to Du Tingxian. Since they came to Shenwu world, their goal was to visit Du Xiaofu. Every force brought along a large amount of treasures to help the young Yu Qing Divine Emperor. Just as the elites had said, everything they were doing was not just because of their respect for Du Xiaofu, but because the demon ancestor's existence really did need him. Without Du Xiaofu, the demon lord couldn't be killed. This was something everyone knew. Under these circumstances, even if the 33 heavens gathered all their resources to save the purple-robed young man, it would be worth it. This, Du Tingxian was very touched. He didn't expect the people of the 33 heavens to be so passionate. However, at the same time, he felt troubled. Because if he accepted these things, they wouldn't be of much use to Du Xiaofu. Just as he was feeling conflicted, a voice came out of nowhere. It echoed throughout the stone city of the desolate country and traveled into everyone's ears. I will accept everyone's kindness on behalf of my junior. If junior brother is able to wake up in the future, these things will indeed be of great use. Many people were familiar with this voice. It was Lu Xiaoyu, the lord of the 3,000 sectors. He was in seclusion, but he was still paying attention to the commotion here. He could not help but speak to everyone. Within the crowd, Du Tingxian also heard Lu Xiaoyu's sound transmission. The treasures brought by the powerhouses of the 33 heavens won't be able to play a critical role in junior apprentice brother's cultivation. But, if he can recover, he will need a massive amount of treasures to assist him. After receiving these things, place them near the Du family's ancestral hall. After some time, I will engrave a formation in case of emergency. Hearing this, Du Tingxian nodded and said seriously to the many experts of the 33 heavens. He no longer refused and put everyone's gifts into his Qiankuan bag one by one. His primordial spirit is almost completely destroyed, and his physical body is also damaged to the extreme. Even the mark he carved himself has been erased. What is left is only a trace of his true spirit. He is barely hanging on to his life. Now that he had recovered, he explained to everyone in detail for the first time. Through Lu Xiaoyu's departure, everyone finally knew that Du Xiaofu's physical body and primordial spirit had been destroyed by the demon ancestor's surprise attack almost instantly. Luckily, Lu Xiaoyu made a move in time and saved his life. However, in this life, there was still the demon ancestor's power that could take his life at any time. Under such circumstances, Lu Xiaoyu brought Du Xiaofu back to Shenwu world and placed him in the stone coffin in the Du clan's ancestral temple, hoping for a miracle. Only a trace of his true spirit is intact. In other words, Du Xiaofu has almost no consciousness right now. If that's the case, it will be extremely difficult for him to recover with his own strength. Lu Jingyun furrowed his brows and asked worriedly. He was not lying. Du Xiaofu had lost all of his power. His primordial spirit was not left behind, and all traces of his Tao had been erased. Without consciousness, no matter how much power Lu Xiaoyu used, it would be difficult for him to fight against the demon ancestor's chaos origin. This was a dead knot that was very difficult to untie. If external forces were to be used to forcefully untie it, then the slightest carelessness would not only fail to help Du Xiaofu, it would even harm him and cause him to completely lose the chance to recover. If that was the case, then it would be too late for regrets. Therefore, everything still depends on junior brother himself. Even though only a trace of his true spirit is intact, his consciousness is still there. I hope he has the strongest willpower and can break through this cage. Lu Xiaoyu softly sighed and said. Although that was what he said, the reason why he sighed was precisely because of this. All hope rested on Du Xiaofu himself. But at the same time, even if he had an extremely weak consciousness, he was unable to unleash powerful strength. If he rashly resisted the origin of chaos of the fiend ancestor, he might be reduced to ashes if he was careless. Because of this, Lu Xiaoyu said from the beginning that the hope was very slim. But there is one thing. Du Xiaofu controls the heavenly path of this world, which is the rules and order of the Tao. As long as he recovers, he can use the power here to recover himself. With the power of a world to rely on, suppressing the demon ancestor's power of the origin of the great path should not be difficult. Lu Jingyun thought for a moment, then gently frowned and said as such. Everyone nodded when they heard this. Du Xiaofu was the strongest existence in this realm. He was a god here. Under the circumstances of controlling the heavenly path, even the demonic ancestor would not be able to do anything to him. This was mainly because of Shinwu world's origin. It was a great world created by Lord Daluo. In the ancient times, even the demon ancestor coveted it and wanted to take it to deal with Pangu. That's true, but the prerequisite is that Du Xiaofu can recover enough of his consciousness. At the side, Lu Yuxiao took over the conversation and said, although this was a bit hurtful, it was the truth. If Du Xiaofu could not recover some of his strength, then everything was just empty talk. He could indeed use the power of Shenwu world, but the prerequisite was that he had the power to use it. No matter how much we talk here, it won't help. Xiaoyu, don't you have something else to say? What is it? At this time, the Holy Great Emperor opened his mouth and asked everyone in the hall. He didn't want to see everyone here in low spirits, so he had to change the topic. Hearing his words, Lu Xiaoyu nodded and said, it's about the demon ancestor. I've decided to enter the 18 layers of hell again and see how he's doing now. I'm still worried. I feel like something is wrong. At the last moment of the battle, the demon ancestor suddenly used a terrifying power from the deepest part of the 18 layers to push him back, giving him a chance to deal with Du Xiaofu. Lu Xiaoyu felt that the power the demon ancestor should not have had. Even if he had recovered many years ago, he could not be so terrifying. Otherwise, all of this shouldn't have escaped his control. Father, are you saying that the demon ancestor's power comes from somewhere else? Lu Jingyun raised his eyebrows and asked in confusion. In the entire 33 heavens, the 3,000 great worlds, and the 18 layers of hell, there was no place in this world that his father could not detect. This was completely illogical. However, his father's intuition should not be wrong. He had been planning for many years to deal with the demon ancestor. When the first primordial spirit of the demon ancestor escaped from the 18 layers of hell and transformed into a demon god, he had already begun to plan after the fierce battle in Shenwu world. All of these preparations could not be said to be insufficient. Otherwise, the powerhouses of the 33 heavens and the 3,000 great worlds would not have been able to destroy all of the demon race's troops so easily. Lu Jingyun could not help but suspect that there might really be some special place in this world that could escape his father's detection and then be used by the demon ancestor. If such a place really existed, it would be an extremely bad thing. I have such a speculation, but everything needs to be investigated on the spot to gain anything. Lu Xiaoyu also furrowed his brows and said, it was with such a plan in mind that he summoned everyone to the main hall for a discussion. Since the demon ancestor has such a method, it must be something very terrifying. Xiaoyu, will you be in any danger this time? The Holy Great Emperor was a little worried and asked. If the demon ancestor could mobilize such power once, he might be able to mobilize it a second time. No one knew if the method used the second time would be more terrifying than the first time. If Lu Xiaoyu entered the place where the demon ancestor was cultivating in seclusion again to investigate, he might really face great danger. This is hard to say for the time being, but no matter how dangerous it is, I must go. Lu Xiaoyu opened his mouth again and said to everyone, fortunately, after the demon ancestor attacked last time, he was severely injured. It is impossible for him to recover in just a few years. Even if he can attack again, I should be able to handle it. At the end of the last battle, Lu Xiaoyu had mobilized the power of the entire Starry Sky formation to crush the demon ancestor. In addition, the demon ancestor had rashly used such a terrifying method to repel him. After a few rounds, his consumption was terrifying and his strength was greatly damaged again. It would take many years for him to recover. Therefore, Lu Xiaoyu was confident that he could deal with any unexpected situation. Since you have already made your decision, I can't say anything. However, you must be careful this time and come back in one piece. The Holy Great Emperor looked at Lu Xiaoyu and reminded him. This disciple's cultivation was far above his own, but as his elder, the Holy Great Emperor still couldn't be at ease. That's right. Xiaoyu, you must be careful. I can't help you much, but I still hope that you can enjoy your life. Yu Yuqian patted Lu Xiaoyu's shoulder and said earnestly. He said that he wanted to enjoy Lu Xiaoyu's life, But the most important thing was naturally his own safety. Right now, one of the two disciples that he was most proud of, Du Xiaofu, was already unconscious, and it was difficult to determine whether he was dead or alive. If something happened to Lu Xiaoyu, Yu Yuqian couldn't imagine how he would live on. "Don't worry, master." Faced with the concern of his two masters, Lu Xiaoyu chuckled and said to them, "Then, Uncle Lu, when do you plan to leave?" On the side, Long Fault spoke again and asked. "Junior brother's condition shouldn't have any big changes in a short period of time. I should leave immediately and try to return as soon as possible." Lu Xiaoyu said, and then added, "But before I leave, I will set up a formation outside the Du family's ancestral hall and place the treasures sent by the people of the 33 heavens there, in case I need them." Du Xiaofu might need his help at any time, and his condition was still relatively stable. Perhaps it would be difficult for there to be any changes in a short period of time. Therefore, Lu Xiaoyu's plan was very simple, and that was to go and return quickly. No matter what, he couldn't delay Du Xiaofu's matter. At this moment, he only wanted to make a rough investigation and obtain some useful information. "All right." Hearing Lu Xiaoyu's words, everyone nodded. After that, the group of people chatted in the hall for a while. Then, Lu Xiaoyu returned to the Du family's ancestral hall and began to set up the formation. Complex patterns of the Great Tao were engraved by him. They were branded in the void and intertwined with the formless power of this realm. Du Tingxian took out his Qiankuan bag, which contained the treasures sent by the powerhouses of the 33 heavens. He also gave them to Lu Xiaoyu and placed them in various places of the formation. This formation could not affect Du Xiaofu's recovery, but once he truly began to recover, he would be able to absorb an endless amount of energy. Although these treasures are all extraordinary, they're still like a cup of water on a burning cart of firewood. I'm afraid that when Junior Brother recovers, it will affect the overall situation of the Shenwu world. Lu Xiaoyu silently sighed and was quite worried, but he did not say anything to the others. Du Xiaofu himself controlled the formless laws and order of the Shenwu world. His injuries were bound to be related to this world. So far, a few years had passed, but nothing had changed. But once he begins to recover more of his consciousness, he will need an endless amount of energy to replenish himself. This will cause an endless amount of energy to surge towards him and cause the Shenwu world to wither. Although these treasures were far from enough, they would still be of some use to him. Junior Brother, as the controller of the Shenwu world and with the most unique bloodline, the power of this world can be used by you. You have to hold on. As long as your consciousness recovers a bit, there will be hope. Lu Xiaoyu kept muttering to himself. However, he was the only one who could hear these words. Otherwise, many experts would have been astonished because of the phrase, "the most unique bloodline," that he had just mentioned. "I'll be going first." After the formation was completed and everything was arranged, Lu Xiaoyu called out to the experts. Then he disappeared from where he was. "Father, be careful. Xiao, be careful. Ruler of the 3,000 worlds, be careful." One by one, the powerhouses warned him. They knew very well that Lu Xiaoyu could hear them. They looked at the calm void of space and stood still for a long time. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.